This week we welcome John Shaughnessy back to the show. I struggled with what to call this one, and look, me and John go through so many things. However, his research centres around gravity, pyramids, and the moon. So that's what we called the last one. That's what we're going to call this one, except it's part two. I love sitting down with John. He's a depth of knowledge, and he has an interesting take on things. And we just have a laugh, as you can see. I really enjoy sitting down and talking to him, and just sharing ideas and research and understanding. And that's what it's about, making sure we share ideas, looking at things from different perspectives, and John's good fun like that. So I really enjoy this episode. We went everywhere, anti-gravity, you name it, okay? Look, I know what John's opinion is, and I'm going to leave Oliver Anthony's Richmond, North of Richmond as the opening song, because it's got to keep going, guys. You know, it just has to. Got a few interesting episodes. Look, as I said, the podcast is still ongoing, so look forward to some interesting stuff. Got some interviews coming up, teeing up some other guys. It's good to be back. I'm enjoying doing these. I appreciate everybody listening. Please look after yourselves. Be cool, and we'll talk soon. Cheers.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, don't the rich men. I wish politicians would look out for miners, and not just miners on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, north of rich men. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
G'day everyone, welcome back. We welcome John Shaughnessy back to the podcast, mate. It's been a while. We've been trying to do this for a little while. How are you, mate?
Good. Thanks for having me on, man. Really appreciate it.
No, it's
Doing
okay,
good.
mate. Doing good, surviving the chaos, mate, trying to navigate it as
Yeah.
best you can.
Yeah. We get some cold weather over here in New England. We're hovering in single digits, but hanging in there. Yeah, just rolling with the punches. Just
Doing what you can do.
navigating the best you can, trying to, just be out there, be available for people that are awakening, and
Yeah.
just be there, say, yeah, this is, you're not crazy. This shit's really happening.
It is going on. Exactly right, mate.
It's
Well,
going
look,
on, dude.
we look. We might get to the chaos a little later, but last time we spoke, you had just finished your book. I think you said you didn't have a book in September. You had it in October.
Yeah.
So that book has now been released since the last time we spoke. Tell us a bit about the new book. What's the premise? And because I'm sure that'll lead us into 1,000
Well,
different topics.
yeah, it's like the crux of it is just a new theory on the pyramids, global pyramids. It kind of ties into the ice age. It's terraforming technology to minimize the plunge into an ice age for the most part, and it covers global floods, reoccurring global floods. They're in a lot of the ancient texts, and it's a reoccurring global flood. And it's got a lot of backup from the science of the day, from archaeologists and physicists and things of that nature. And for the most part, it's there there were geysers on this planet, water geysers,
Mm-hmm.
and they erupted, and technologically advanced society came down, and they said, okay, we realize we're on a water planet, and there is a global flood event that happens on this planet every 114 or 116,000 years at the end of an ice age, followed by a interglacial period, and at the end of the interglacial period comes the flood, the global flood. We're talking Noah, Zulazudra,
Pick your flood. Yeah.
Gilgamesh.
Pick your flood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big. We're
Rainbow.
talking about mile over your head.
Mhm.
And in the 90s, scientists had discovered that there was 20 times the amount of water located in this place called the transition zone. So, I mean, 20 times the amount of water on the surface of the planet. So, we're talking about the oceans are enormous, right? I mean, they're talking about a lot of water. And there's actually 25 to 20 times that amount located in this place called the transition zone, which is actually in between the upper and lower mantle, and a lot of it's in the form of ringwoodite and waterlite. So, but that's under extreme pressures, temperatures. But what happens is this particular zone hits a saturation point, and that saturation point is coming at the end of this interglacial period where we're heading towards, and eventually it ruptures, and you have geysers come up from the ocean floors. In the Bible, they call it water from the deep rises up, and things of that nature. So what this high tech society did was there's geysers on land on the continents, and what they did was they built pyramids on top of these geysers to keep this water from spraying into the atmosphere and crashing the planet into what I call ice age Earth. And by doing that, we have a descent into an ice age, which is a nice slow, methodical dip into an ice age where life survives. And without the technology, the pyramids basically built on top of these geysers, preventing it from blowing into the atmosphere. You have a catastrophic, everything dies on the surface of the planet, literally, not much is surviving. So that's the basic technology. There's in the book, I put out all the evidence in the internal mechanics of GP1, whereas these people were actually showing off. They were actually controlling and manipulating the geyser itself. They tunneled down and connected to the geyser with what they call the descending passageway, and they cut into it, and then they built the pyramid on top of it, and they were actually used the shafts in the king's chamber as actually warning devices. So when we get into this season of geyser season or flood season, if you will, the water comes up through the subterranean chamber, goes up the descending passageway. It pushes up the blocks that are inside the grand gallery. Those are sliding check valves. People, they've been mistaken as being blockage, but they're not. They actually push up under pressure. We're talking 10, 15, 20,000 psi of pressure coming up out
Yeah,
of this
absolutely. Yeah.
launch, a geyser, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is that all the large pyramids on the planet built on top of these subterranean oceans in China, uh, Giza. I mean, encompasses four countries in Egypt, surrounding Egypt, and also in Central South America. There's subterranean oceans there. So when this uh, uh, transition zone ruptures, like I said earlier, it goes up through the ocean. Now the ocean can handle the geysers, and they keep the bulk of the water from hitting into the atmosphere because
Yeah.
it condenses it with
Yeah.
the
It
cold
condenses it with the cold in the
cold
bottom.
water,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it doesn't go up. But
Mm.
the stuff coming up out of land needed the pyramids on it. So for the most part, we're talking about some incredible technology, and that's basically the crux of the biscuit. So
Mm-hmm.
down
That's
in
the elevator pitch. Yeah.
yeah,
Because
yep.
I
And
mean,
then you got like the pyramid down in Mexico. They've got a vent tube that they found right in the center of the pyramid of the sun. So it's not like make believe. And then all the pyramids around the world, there's always this dank, dusky, can't clean it all the way out hole in the ground underneath the pyramid, and
that's
that's
true. Yeah. That's what a lot of people
subterranean
don't know.
chambers.
That they don't know that, do
Yeah,
they,
it's
John? Yeah.
nobody goes over there because they went down 30, 40 feet under in the
It turns into water.
subterranean
Yeah.
chamber of GP1. It never stopped. It would
Mm.
just keep going and going and going.
Mm.
And then you got a lot of ancient texts and Hermes there. The Emerald Tablet talks about huge caverns that go a mile deep underneath the plateau, Giza Plateau, in different parts of Egypt under the Sphinx. So there's a lot of like little, innuendo, little traces, and what do we have left of our society on the planet. So, but for the most part, it kind of answers like, why would these people go to all this trouble to build these enormous pyramids?
Oh, it's for tombs for sure, John.
Because your actually your life depends on it.
Yeah.
Like literally every living thing on the planet depends on managing this event that happens every 116, 113,000 years.
And it's
So,
so why 116,000? Where'd that number come from?
that number comes from 4 trips of procession.
Yeah.
I kind of grabbed it out of the ice samples, which goes back a million years.
Oh yeah. So
If you go back,
26.25
so
or
you got
whatever it is times
yeah,
4. Okay. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
got four cycles of recession. I was going
Mm-hmm.
to say depression, but
Depression.
you got 4 cycles of recession, right? And then followed by that's 104,000 year ice age,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you
Mm-hmm.
have on average a 13,000 year interglacial period. And at the end of that interglacial period, you end up with the flood and the geyser event.
Yeah.
As we speak right now, they got microphones down the bottom of the ocean. They're listening to the water flowing through the floor of the ocean, going down to this transition zone. So the theory was 60, 30 years, 50 years ago that when the poles melted, like the North Pole's gone for the most part, and Antarctica is on its way out. They thought the water would be 6 feet higher than it is today, or 20 feet higher, and it's not. It hasn't gone up an inch or two, maybe in a few places. But what is going on is the floor of the ocean isn't like your blue liner, vinyl liner in your swimming pool out in the backyard.
Yeah.
It's impervious. It
Yeah.
has cracks and crevices, tectonic plate joints, and that it can only hold so much pressure at the floor of the ocean. We're talking, so the deepest part of the ocean might be like 10,000 psi.
Oh, it's a lot of
A
pressure
lot of
down there.
pressure,
Yeah. Yeah.
or 50 or 5,000 psi. But we're talking, so in essence, when the water rises, and it is rising, but it ends up, just a couple of feet or whatever, a foot or an inch, that increases the volume of water flowing through and back down to the what do you call it? The subduction, not the subduction zone, the transition zone where all this
Transition zone.
water is located.
I
So,
mean,
like I said earlier, you're going to hit a saturation point,
Mm.
and this shit's it's just like your teapot on your stove.
Yeah.
You put the fire on. Sooner or later, it's going to boil and it's going to blow. And
Yeah, it's gonna blow. That's right.
a lot of people have come out. A lot of people that have realized this, and hot mic, in their face, and we're living on a water bomb. Literally, this thing's going to blow.
Mm.
And then they take that guy out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He
You
crashes
can't
into a
say
tree.
that.
He
You
crashes
can't
into a
say
tree.
that. You're not
Yeah,
publishing any papers on it.
yeah.
And
Because I mean,
that's
yeah, I mean, so I mean, to sort of, and so I was thinking about this because I listened to our last episode yesterday. I've got a heap of notes, and
yeah,
we did an excellent job last time. Go back for those that haven't
yeah,
listened to mine and John's first episode. Go back and have a look. Oh, there you go,
yeah,
pyramids and the Great Floods.
yeah.
Can I buy one of those off you, mate? We'll talk about that later. I want you
Yeah,
to
if I
sit.
can get it down here, I'd be glad. I'll send
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got a whole box of them here. So
yeah,
get
yeah,
your
yeah,
address. I'll ship one down there.
yeah, yeah. Please do,
I'll
man.
ship a
Because
few of them. Just send them out.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would. Look, we'll sort that out because that's what I wanted to do. I'd rather give you the money anyway, mate.
Mm,
So
yeah.
because I was thinking, so down here in Australia we have, so I was thinking, what's the what we talked about last time is like there's so many different rabbit holes, right? And you start looking, and like one of the things is that people don't know in a lot of these massive pyramids, Teotihuacan, all the ones through South America, all the big
Yeah.
ones through Egypt, and all that sort of stuff. They find water or fluid at the bottom of them, like you said.
Right.
It ends somewhere, and there's a pool of something.
And there's
Um,
water management. Yeah.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
aqueducts flowing
yeah.
from the pyramids.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
like, because I thought about this as well, it's like some of the pyramids in South America, they say, oh, there was a spa at the top, like the whole thing was built so they could have a spa at the top of
Yeah.
it. No, hang
Yeah.
on a minute.
Yeah.
The whole thing was built to control the water pressure to get to the top. You know what I mean? So it didn't,
Right.
like you said,
Right.
didn't overwhelm the ground.
Right.
And there's all these basins underneath the earth. Like we call it the Great Artesian Basin underneath the Northern Territory here in Australia, and it's
Right.
literally billions and billions of gallons of water, like just
Yeah.
billions. It's just billions and billions of gallons, and it's just
It's
underneath the
huge.
ground, right? And
It's an ocean.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's an ocean underneath the ground
Freshwater
in the
ocean.
Northern
Yep.
Territory. Yeah. Beautiful
Yeah.
water, by the way, John. It's so delicious. You know what I mean? Like, when you have really good water, the
Oh
stuff that
man.
comes out of
Yeah.
the artesian basin is just like, oh no, just tasty.
Yeah. Your body's
Yeah,
craving it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
really good stuff. And they're all over the planet as well. And like you
Yep.
say, throughout, one of the things that's really popular throughout the Amazon is cave diving. Like there's all these
Right.
massive, unbelievable, ginormous caves just full to the
Right.
brim of water under the
Right.
Amazon throughout South America. So it's like this things that you're talking about and you're discussing. It makes sense because the pyramids.
Yeah.
Like I've heard a lot of crazy ideas for the pyramids, John. You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
they
Well,
have having and obviously the big reason is why.
right.
And the one thing that everybody agrees on is that they are some sort of machine. If you step back,
Yeah.
they are some sort of device and there is water at the bottom of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or mercury, like we were discussing the mercury as well, because they keep finding
Yeah.
mercury around these things as well. I wonder what the mercury's got to do with the process.
Right.
Um, one of the questions I had is surrounding that, because obviously, Teotihuacan, it's a massive pyramid, but in the
Yeah.
1920s, it just looked like a hill. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
we
Yeah.
had to dig it out. So,
Right.
and look, there's two spots around here where I am. So where I am,
Yeah.
we've got the back Great Dividing Range, and I'm
Yeah.
sort of on the plain, coming off
Right.
the mountain, and there's
Yeah.
two hills that it's like we need to go and dig under those hills. Like it's like we play spot the
Yeah.
pyramid, in deep into Australia, because I
Yeah.
think. Do you think that there is stuff like that still hiding under the brush? You know what I mean? Because if these
Oh,
things,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
like,
these geysers, they're popping up, popping up all over the place. Like it was a major undertaking, a global undertaking to get this system under control.
mm,
And basically buy your time. Now, the pyramids, you get the fancy ones in Egypt, but you could get the same effect with boulders over the geysers that come up
just
the ground
providing
over
some sort of
the,
filter. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you just throw boulders onto it, and what they do is they just boulders, dirt, grade, mounds. It doesn't have to be a step pyramid with a
Mm,
temple on it. So you have a lot of the mounds that were basically built over these things to suppress the water. Now
mm.
the even the Great Pyramid of Giza, it doesn't stop the water from coming out. It bleeds out. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
it's
a
not
relief
a
valve, like you said.
watertight.
Yeah, it's a relief
Yeah,
valve.
the
Yeah.
water's going to flow out of it, and GP1, GP2, the pyramids in Saqqara, Abusir, Red Pyramid, Bent Pyramid, all those places. And inside the pyramid itself, like in large cavities inside the Great Pyramid of Giza and the other pyramids, they have what they call quartz sand crystals, quartz sand. And the reason they have quartz sand instead of just regular sand is that it doesn't clump up into mud. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It's a filtering process. It
Yeah.
allows water to bleed through it,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll last for millions of years. The water goes through it. Like we said earlier, there's tunnels, there's chambers that are all over the Giza plateau. So allows the water to flow out of the different parts of the pyramids and into these tunnels, aquifers, get down to the Nile or wherever and head out to. They just found a tunnel not a mile away from the Giza Plateau in the north that actually goes all the way to the Red Sea.
Yeah.
So they surmised that it was Cleopatra's. They're always going out of
Escape.
their
Cleopatra escaped through there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It was all for ceremony, John. It was all for ceremony, mate.
Yeah. But they're aqueducts to get the water out to the sea. You know what I mean? And the bottom line is to keep this water from going into the atmosphere. Like before the pyramids, when you hit the geyser mode or geyser environment, the end, combined with the flood, so it's a double whammy. You're getting a global flood, and you're getting these geysers. It's a struggle just to survive. We're talking 150 days, maybe 4 to 6 months of horror, and then once that it hits its peak, this water flows back down to the transition zone for 120,000 years, or 118,000 years, or whatever. So so you get it's tough, but the bottom line is this technology before it was put into place. You had these geysers just shooting superheated steam water right up into the atmosphere and putting 100-mile thick blanket of cloud around the whole planet. And it
That's
just drove the whole place right into an ice age. It crashed the ocean conveyors, and those are big. Those distribute the heat from the equatorial.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Tempered from the northern and southern.
You've got to keep that flow going, and that needs the sun to keep the flow going.
That's one of the things that crashes anyways. When this geyser flood environment actually takes off, it crashes the conveyors. You do get some clouds and things of that nature. But like I said earlier, it's not ice. It's not a snowball Earth. It's just a nice descent into the ice age, because the planet actually warms up significantly through this event, and then after that, it's a major crash into an ice age. So
and we're overdue too as well, aren't we, John? Isn't that it's like as far as the timeline is concerned?
We're at the end of the interglacial. We're at 13,500 years. So all we got to go on is it's you're looking at, like, it's a lot of things, a lot of historical significant things here and there, but for the most part, it's just wait and see. You'll know when this thing ruptures. It says in all the ancient texts, it's an earthquake like you've never heard before globally.
Well, I know
start rising.
Look, I know that we can't we can't talk about Fight Club, John. You know what I mean? That's the first rule of Fight Club. However, one of the things
first thing about Fight Club,
one of the things that comes through the alternative media sources that's happening at the moment is that there's a lot of volcanoes going off at the moment. There's volcanoes everywhere going off. How's Yellowstone going, mate? Because I know that was accelerating as well. Because we talk about geysers. It's not like geysers don't exist on the planet anyway, right? Because you've got there's some geysers in New Zealand, I'm pretty sure. There's also Yellowstone is the most famous geyser.
Those are shallow geysers, like they're geysers that run off of the magma. And this global flood thing is a completely different animal. It's coming
underneath there.
It's coming from 300 to 400 miles below the surface. Like that's how low this stuff is. And when it does fracture, it comes up. It comes up violently, and it'll shoot right past magma, we'll be praying for magma once this stuff comes up. We,
Mm.
you know, so it's going to come up, and it's got its own caverns locations that it comes up out of.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty well, situated in the ocean and on land. So it's like,
Do you,
but
yeah.
yeah,
Do you think, mate? So, because we talked a bit last time about the bit of a D all the above scenario, right? But the because one of the things I've been thinking the last year, because obviously the research continues, doesn't it, mate? You know what I mean?
right,
We
right.
never stop. So
Yeah, we
I'm
keep learning, man.
I,
Yeah.
I'm wondering when it comes to the cataclysm, okay? Because obviously, obviously the latest trend as far as the cataclysm is concerned is that the Great Flood. Everybody's describing what happened 13,000 years ago, which 12,800, whether it be
Yeah,
we spoke about Randall Carlson and those guys doing really good
yeah.
work, right?
Oh yeah,
Um,
they're great. Yeah,
but what if it's
smart guys, smart guys.
what if it's multiples, right? Like you say,
Yeah,
what if it's just not just one flood,
yeah,
right? You know what I
yeah,
mean? What
yeah,
if it's not just one thing?
right,
Because like in the last episode, and I still haven't. There's still no
yeah,
record of what happened 6,000 years ago, because obviously in the Mason calendar, it's the year
yeah,
6,023, right?
right,
But that's half a
right.
cycle ago, John. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's half a
yeah,
cycle ago.
yeah.
Then
You're not even. Yeah, you're
12,800 is
not.
another half a cycle ago.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
and then they had we had the super volcano 70, 80,000 years ago that reduced us to 10,000 people, right? It's like
right. Yeah.
this planet is so dynamic, and I think
It's a violent place. It can be violent. Like we get this. We're in this beautiful utopia right now. It's
absolutely, yeah.
you get a little rumbles here and there, and we do have a little bit of loss of life here and there, but for the most part, most people are getting a good night's sleep. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, but it does have violent, um, you know, areas in its timeline where it it hits saturation points, and you could have, like, I would imagine we could have magma going off, geysers going off, water. I mean, the whole
Because
thing.
if
It's
because if
almost
you've got well, yeah, that was what I was thinking, right? Because if you've got a lot of pressure, here's one of my little
right.
balls, right? You got a lot of
Yeah,
pressure. If it's coming, so the geysers are coming out here, that's going to put pressure on the
yeah,
plate over there, which is going to let that go, which is going to get this let go.
yeah.
You know,
You're talking about a major issue going on. Yeah,
and the
like if you
steam in
look
the
at
atmosphere is going to cause storms as well. Like it's going to be electrical. You know what I mean? Like it's
crash.
yeah.
It's hot, extreme, highly pressurized, super high temperature stuff making its way to the surface.
Mm,
So it'll be boiling the seas. Like I hate, you look at the references in Genesis, the seas are boiling, and then when God uh, came, it was just a water planet. Then he put his hand on the planet, he split the firmament, right, and the water started to recede,
hmm
and then the land became available, right. So it's like, so we were like, okay, what? So I mean, we use God when we don't understand the physics,
Yes.
right.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's going on when he split the firmament? It's basically what I talked about earlier, is that the subduction zones, tectonic plate joints, so these big troughs that
hmm
basically the water just flows right back into this transition zone,
hmm
and it just starts flowing down, and the waters in the ocean all come down. Like
mm
throughout around the planet, you have the Grand Canyon. There's every continent has Grand Canyons. There are huge amounts of erosion, and we're told that this little stream that's 200
Yeah.
feet down at the
The
bottom of the
tiny little
canyon,
ribbon. Yeah. Yeah. That.
he did all this massive erosion. Like, no, no.
No, it didn't.
So,
No.
the bottom line is, it's when the planet floods, a mile over your head, then all of a sudden the transition, the firmament splits again, then the water flows back down to the transition zone. What you have is when you have getting closer to the land, you have huge currents, massive currents,
Mm.
just like water in the tub. You got the
hmm
whirlpools, the whole
hmm
nine yards, billions and billions of gallons are just ripping the tundra apart, the eroding, whatever soils there. And a lot of times you'll see, if you look under the water, if you get out of the ocean, you'll see these nice, smooth, rounded, like little, sand dunes or whatever, nothing
Yeah.
big,
The
and a
ripples. Yeah.
micro, yeah, ripples. Now, if you look across the land or you're flying across the land, you got the same ripple effect.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's not wind. That's water. That
that's
was,
water. Yeah, yeah. There's some
that
down
was
here as
water.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
you have that.
we looked
Yeah.
at that. We looked at that as well because it's like obviously you've got the ones in the Grand Prairie. You've got the big boulders like just in the middle of nowhere. There's a
Yeah.
massive basalt boulder that
That's,
weighs
yeah. Yeah.
200 tons that got dropped off
Right.
last time. You know what I mean? When the ice
Yeah.
melted.
Well, yeah, you got the glacier movement. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on.
And it's
It's
all happening at once as well. I think
yeah,
the problem we have, John, is it grasping the larger picture in in
yeah,
many different directions these days.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and one thing that the ancient texts tell us
right,
that this is what's come down to us: the flood,
right.
you know,
It's the flood, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the flood, right? But
yeah.
then there's the Armageddon, right? Armageddon is rocks from the sky because that happens every now and again as well. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you
Like,
got the asteroids and
yeah,
comets and
mm. We live in a
things of that nature.
galactic environment. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
the Taurid meteor stream we pass through twice a year. Well, we pass through a number of meteor streams a year,
right,
but
right.
we know that there's kilometer wide objects in the Taurid meteor stream,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. We
Every,
got one coming. Yeah,
you
we got
know,
one coming in April. There's the horn. What's the devil comet? Comes
yeah,
every 71 years, so that's coming through 3 months from now.
yeah, and that's
Yeah,
and look,
so
and the thing is,
that's big.
71, 72 years, John, is 1 degree of precession, isn't it? You know what I
That's
mean?
correct. Yeah. So
Right?
it's doing its
It's
thing. Yeah. And
that
it's coming right into the solar system, So, and then what it happens when it hits the sun, the horns, I forget the name of the thing, but it has this two horn things, and the horns melt the ice on it, and it gives you that devil look. You know what I mean? So the
yeah, right, yeah,
horns, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's got. I was trying to
Baphomet,
remember
like Baphomet, the
yeah,
horn, the goat, whatever. It's
the horn
cruising
god,
through
yeah,
it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
and
the
symbology
Satan,
like this as well, man. Like
yeah,
we need to um we need to take a step back
mm,
and like I don't mind you quoting the Bible, John, because what I see the Bible as, and
it's
I've got two or three of them in here, right?
hey,
Um,
it's a history book.
it's
There
a
is some
history book,
factual
exactly
stuff
right.
in
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. Yeah, it's a history book,
Yeah,
right? And it's
yeah,
I mean, and as far as
yeah,
like who is God,
yeah.
what is God? That's a good
Right.
question, right?
Yeah.
Nephilim and all those sorts of things, right? Are we
Yeah. You
talking
got the
about something
angels,
coming
the
down from
demons.
down high? Exactly, like
Yeah. Yeah. You got,
but then you go
all
into
sorts of
indigenous
stuff going on.
cultures and it's Orions versus
Yeah.
Palladians, and what's the
Yeah.
difference? You know what I mean? Is there any difference in that? Is it all this? Honestly, John, I look at it now, man, and it's just the same story. It's the same
Right.
story over and over and over
It
again,
is
told
just
from through a different lens.
different languages, different, but it's all yeah, it's the same. The outcome's the same.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, everything floods.
yeah. 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 Right. Yeah.
um, and
Yeah.
I was just having a look. So the pyramids there. So you do think, yeah, and that was my other thing too, right?
Yeah.
Earthworks, right? It doesn't have to be some fantastical step.
Doesn't have to be GP1 to
No.
stop the water. I mean,
Mm.
these people they were making a statement showing off like, hey,
This is what we
but
can do. This is what
basically,
we can do if we want to.
it was that design that triggered me into thinking that this thing's controlling the geyser. They drilled down, tunneled down to this geyser. That's why they have the what do they call them? The test passageway, the trial passageways. There's two
Mm.
or three of them
Mm-hmm.
on the Giza Plateau, and what they were doing is they were triangulating with these passageways with instrumentation inside this to try to locate the geyser itself 300
Mm.
feet below the surface. And once they nailed it, they got, it's just like GPS today. When you're driving down the road or you're out in the ocean, you're taking three satellites or three cell towers to triangulate your position,
Mm-hmm.
so they know where you're at, and you're on the road, and take a left here, take a right. But bottom line is they were triangulating at a much lower. a more difficult thing to do is subterranean triangulation, you know.
Mm,
So
mm.
they were using maybe sonar or sound or some kind of sound technology and catching the reflection back,
Which
basically
is
on
what we
this
do today, by
location
the
of the
way.
guys.
Which is what we
Yeah,
do today.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, you're
Mm,
doing the same thing. So these
yeah.
trial passageways were, the beginning of instrumentation,
Mm.
and it wasn't no big deal to make these things. These people did this stuff in their sleep. It was, they almost willed it into existence. It wasn't
Oh,
like
their
major
ability,
issue for them, you
whoever
know?
these people were, John, whoever these people were, their ability to manipulate stone
Yeah, yeah,
at will,
right,
right, is
right,
just
yeah,
it's
literally, yeah,
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 it
yeah,
doesn't. It's like it's easy as we use a knife through butter. They're doing that to
right.
granite. You know what I
They
mean?
got it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like I
that's
mean,
it.
and I think when you say sound,
Yeah,
that sound had to not only is sound a massive part of the technology that we use to monitor the
right.
planet and look underneath the planet now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think sound as well. We're talking about vibration. You know what I mean? The cytonic, that's not cytonic. You know what I'm talking. The cyclic vibration and the sound and stuff.
Yeah,
That
yeah. They
that
have different waves. They put different waves out.
mm,
Sound waves.
and
Yeah,
that. I reckon the technology had to be something sound, light, vibration. You know, I mean,
yeah, yeah.
how do you just carve massive bits of granite in it? You know, like, and look, I've got
Right.
some. One of the things I've been working on, John, is out of place technology, and I want to show you some stuff today, uh,
Okay.
because I want to get your thoughts on it, because it's all
Right.
been told as ceremony and all this sort of stuff. But I
Right.
think it's echoes, man. I think it's echoes of technology, right? I think
Mhm.
there's echoes there where we can see. Well, actually, yeah, we'll just do it now, mate. Here we go. What I'll do, let's just do it now. I'll bring some stuff up. Let's have a look here.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
We hit the book. I think everybody gets the gist of the book. So that's
yeah, the gist of the book's fine, mate. Yeah. And look,
yeah.
we'll sort it out, mate. I'll get some copies down here, and let's
Yeah.
we'll,
Definitely. I
yeah.
want to take a trip down there anyway. So maybe we can probably cheaper for me to fly down and give you the books in person than mailing them. Not serious. You try to mail something these days, it's crazy. There you go.
What am
Yeah,
I
you
doing?
got a
What?
you got a
Wait, hang on.
PowerPoint. You got a PowerPoint screen up there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, this is the start of it, right? And I know you would have seen these
yeah,
before, right? I've got some other stuff I want to show you because
yeah,
what I'm seeing, John, part of my stuff is it's like um, there's a massive thing here where we can actually see what's going on, right?
yeah.
Because what a lot of people don't know, and every year the list grows longer, right? Um,
Right.
these are the known megalithic sites, John, right? These are
Okay.
the
Yeah.
countries that have known megalithic sites.
Right.
Um, Now, you would imagine if we take your research as well and we
Yeah.
join that together, then there's
Right.
potentially megalithic sites wherever the megalithic culture echoes around the planet, which is everywhere, as we can see here.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
there
Every
would be
continent.
evidence. There would be evidence of if they were there, leaving their knowledge behind in whatever form it took, then
Yeah.
this is what we're talking about, man. You know what I mean? Um,
Right. Right.
and look, just for those that for new listeners, I have this list has grown. I've done this a couple of times, but I'll take a big
Yeah.
deep breath, mate, and let's do this list, right? So
Yeah.
Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Indonesia, Israel, Japan, Laos, Lebanon, Micronesia, South Korea, Syria, Tonga, Turkey, England, France, Germany, Spain, Bahamas, China, Costa Rica, Cuba, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, United States, Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, Peru, Greece, Ireland, Malta, Netherlands, Russia, Scotland, Australia, Italy, Mongolia, New Zealand.
Mm.
So when we talk about the evidence of advanced technology in ancient sites and this advanced ancient culture, I think people
Right.
get stuck on Egypt, and Egypt's unbelievably impressive. Don't get me wrong; it's unbelievably impressive. But there is evidence and astrological alignments and all that sort of stuff in all of these countries, man.
Yeah.
Um, and the out of place technology, you would have been here. I haven't been here yet, right? I've been. I want to
I
get.
was there. I
You've
was
been
there.
there,
Yeah.
so you've seen these scoop marks, John,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think that
It's
is, man? You know what I mean?
That's high pressure water cutting technology. Like when I was on the Giza Plateau, the pock marks where they were harvesting the lime stone blocks. When you get to the edge of the depth, and you get to the edge of the quarry, and you'll have these pock marks. And what it is the high pressure cutting nozzle water is cutting through the stone, and it's a stop, and it blows past where the stone we're going to harvest, and it just drops down and cuts. And so you go to a modern day quarry where they're using high pressure water to cut stone, and it has the exact same fingerprint as what's on the Giza Plateau. I got a video on my YouTube channel actually showing, comparing the two. It's but nobody wants to hear it. They don't want to, oh no, it's high. No, we did this with copper and stone and
copper chisels and diorite balls. Yeah,
the narrative is like dumb the people down. Just keep dumbing it down. Nobody was here. They just want you.
Isn't that a diorite ball in the picture there? Isn't that supposedly? You know what I mean? Like
they throw that.
Just keep throwing the ball at it. Just keep throwing the ball at it till it gets to the bottom. And look, and
the thing is, it's laughable, man. Yeah.
For those that are listening, we're looking at the unfinished obelisk in Aswan, and that's a pink granite as well, which I think
I walked on that. I walked on that. Yeah. That's actually pointing towards the summer solstice. And,
is it really?
During a 19.4 degree tilt, which is the Ice Age tilt. And then there's 52 holes. Actually, there's 52 holes that are drilled in the top of that. It's way up the top. You can see it goes across the crack way up there. Yeah. That actually points at today's summer solstice at 23.4 degrees.
The crack there does. Are you saying the?
No, not the crack. No, there's holes drilled. If you look at the other picture. Go to the other picture, way up at the no, you had it on there. The one you had, but the picture to your right. No,
this one, yeah.
If you go all the way up, you'll see a little bit of a line. Not that one. There's one below, right up to the left. Go to the left.
Oh,
left,
yeah.
That one right there.
Right. Yeah.
That line is made up with 52 separate drilled holes, and before that was dug out, there was a guy standing on top of it with a donkey back in 1890, took a photo, and those holes were there before modern excavation techniques had dug all the sand out of it.
And that aligns
and that actually points towards the azimuth of a 23.4 degree tilt. So the main obelisk was never meant to come out. I mean, this thing's ridiculous. It's 100,000 pounds. It's like 3 or 4 times heavier than it's 4 times heavier than any known obelisk out there. But you could tell it was a needle. It was pointing at the tilt. When the sun rose up, that hit it, on the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. I mean, I got a video on that too. But
and that's good, man. Look, as I say, make sure we get your YouTube. We'll get all your links in the
we'll get
chat
the YouTube
again.
channel on that.
And look, man, because the thing
I got an opinion on everything. You hang out long enough, I'll have an opinion on everything. But
no, that's why I'm talking to you, John. That's why I'm talking to you, mate. Because I knew I'd learn. I'd learn some more. I didn't know about that. I knew the holes were there. I thought they were trying to stitch the stone or something. You know what I mean? I thought they were trying to save the stone.
It's actually, I did the angulations and all the the angles and everything else. It's and at 52, what's the significant of 52? 52 weeks.
2 weeks in a year. Yeah.
So, in a year.
So that means that someone every week stood on this obelisk after the cataclysm because the Earth's tilt changed, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
And then every week made sure that was the right direction for the summer solstice.
It was pointed at 19.4 degree tilt. They know there was that's an ice age tilt.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came back, what they did was somebody went there to to make it a point, no pun intended,
No, but yeah.
that this was made to point at the solstice. That was
Uh,
the original purpose of this thing was to have a point at the solstice.
I mean, but what's your thoughts as well, John? Because we do see
Yeah,
around the world, we see it's like they abandon the quarries. You know what I mean? Like this isn't
yeah,
the only unfinished bit of stone. You've got Baalbek, which is even more impressive with the massive
yeah,
blocks
yeah,
there.
yeah,
You've
yeah,
got quarries in South America where it looks
yeah,
like they just walked away, man. You know what I mean? Do you think they were that's why
yeah.
maybe the cataclysm happened, or do you think that's like
It could have been, yeah, it could have been the end of the era, like
yeah,
the Great Flood.
hmm
Not the Great Flood, but I would say it could have been a just an end of an era.
yeah,
What we have is civilizations rise, they hit a pinnacle, and
and
then
they
they
fall.
implode on themselves. Like
Mm.
Rome repeats itself over and over and over again.
And we're in the middle
So
of it right now, John.
yeah,
we're,
yeah,
we're essentially in it
we're
right now.
we're getting close to the big vacuum, the big suck, where there's nothing left to steal or rob or friggin' absorb or eat, and then it just stops,
So your call is with these ones. You reckon they're high, that's a high pressure water machine type thing, and it's just cutting a slice of the rock. You
Yeah,
reckon that's what
because
it's doing?
yep, yeah, absolutely. It was high pressure water. They got the technology that rivals what we have today.
Mm.
I tried, I give I give people credit for dumbing down everybody, and but
Oh, they've
it's
done a
just
really good job of destroying all the evidence. Yeah, it's you can't. The thing
yeah,
about this whole situation, John, if it
yeah.
wasn't, you've got to sort of give them a bit of give a bit of kudos, mate. You know what I mean? Because
Oh,
they've done a bloody
absolutely.
good job. Like you've got to go.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what? Well done, mate. You've done a great job at totally fucking us. But anyway, um,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. You got to stand back. You got to stand back in awe,
yeah,
like in
kudos where it's
awe,
due.
man. Like
Kudos where
these
it's due.
guys, yeah. Like George Carlin talks about religion, just
Yeah, yeah.
like they've got the drill down, man. Yeah,
And yeah, as I say, this show's only this slideshow's not even barely finished, but I've sort of started. I called them the scoop marks. You know what I mean? Because it looks like an ice
yep,
cream scoop or something. Um,
right,
because and look, just for the record, the unfinished obelisk in Aswan is pink granite, and it's
yep,
pink granite is rated 6 to 8 on the Mohs scale of hardness, 10 being the hardest thing that you
right,
can get, right?
yeah, yeah,
And they were just carving it with impunity. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And look, I could see high pressure water. I could see, but do you think
yeah.
there might have been?
That's why you had wells. Like if you look at the bottom of these things, there's always a well on the bottom where they throw a pump and pump it out. You know, like
Okay,
you go
yeah,
way down the bottom, you'll see this like, what's there a well? It's like a subterranean chamber. It's like, well, what's that doing there?
mm,
Well, if you don't want to like have this thing fill up with water so you can't see what you're cutting or what's going on, so you have a pump, a deep
yeah.
hole
It's a
at the end of
return
it.
line. Yeah, it's the
You have a
return line.
deep
Yeah,
hole at the end. You got a pump down, and you're just shooting the water out as fast as it's going in.
yeah,
They're
right.
probably using like 100,000 psi. Today we got 120,000 psi. Let's slice a person in half.
Oh yeah,
Wham.
no, I know that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I'll use.
I've actually used the technology, because I'm a power plant engineer, and
Mm,
we'd call these people in to clean boiler tubes, and
yes.
I mean these things were amazing, unbelievable, stainless steel. Everything was operating at the maximum, extreme of the material science itself, the pumps,
Hmm.
the hoses,
Yeah.
the nozzles, 60,000, 80,000 psi,
Hmm.
wild,
Yeah.
yeah,
When I was in the mining game, there was a video
yeah,
going around where to test these hoses, they cut a car in half, and
yeah,
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 they
yeah.
may or may not have cut a cow in half too, but we probably was, but yeah,
Yeah.
just goes through anything.
Yeah,
But
I mean, we had the money. We could redesign what kind of a nozzle they were using.
mm,
It's probably a robotic arm or something attached to like an excavator arm. An excavator digger, hydraulic arm.
hmm
Except it was just water pressure, or just hosing it out. Boom, just cutting it off. Bam, bam.
do you think
And
though,
then
John? Do you think, mate? I mean, look, I'm with you, and I can see how you got to
yeah,
that
yeah,
conclusion quite
it just
easily.
slides it right out. Yeah,
Mm.
probably
But
coming out with a foot wide nozzle.
yeah,
Just carving it out, man.
Well, if you see there, that the reason there's that lady standing there to give you sort of an idea of the size of these scoop
Oh
marks,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But do you know
yeah.
what
If you go,
do you know what I found though, John? Right? Because we've seen this one. Everyone's seen this one.
yeah,
Uh, the scoop marks echo, dude.
right,
Right?
yeah. There you go. Yeah, yeah.
There's
You
some
got
in
scoops
Peru.
there, man.
Right? There's
Water
some in
pressure there,
Peru.
possibly,
Right?
possibly water
Um,
pressure there, man. Just
yeah,
whoosh,
yeah.
whoosh,
There's some
Yeah, I
in
mean, yeah.
Peru. There's
You could, if those are like, what do you call it? Organic, what is sedimentary stone or
mm,
igneous stone, whatever.
mm-hmm.
You could use water technology to slice that stuff up and get that kind of perfect fit too,
Yeah. But
if you wanted to,
there's
you know.
evidence of scoop marks in on Stonehenge. There's evidence of scoop
Yeah.
marks in South America.
Right,
Um,
right,
like I said, this stuff is echoing. You know what I mean?
right, right.
And what I've done is I've picked up the echo. It's like, oh, hang on a minute. There
Yeah,
is evidence of technology.
yeah.
We're not looking at it.
It's a
Um,
global. I mean, we can say Atlantis on this show
yeah,
without being locked
absolutely.
up,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, so
Well, we can,
I
mate.
mean,
You
this
know.
is. I mean, you can talk. You can say Anunnaki. You can say Atlantis. One of the two.
Mm.
Maybe it's the same. It's the same people. Who
Well,
knows?
here
But
you work with turbines and all that sort of stuff,
oh
John,
yeah,
right?
gas turbines, zero
Yeah,
derivative jet engines.
yeah. So what is
Yeah,
this?
yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, that's a. Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, that could be a number of things, but yeah, that looks like a what do you call it? A centrifugal pump,
Yeah, centrifugal pump, some sort of gear.
centrifugal
Yeah.
pump, a screw pump.
There's another one,
Yeah,
right?
there you go, propeller, a
Yeah, there's
propeller
a
for a
propeller.
boat,
Yeah, there's
or
another one,
or
right?
or yeah, yep, there you go.
You know, and this stuff's being found everywhere, man. You know, it's
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
like, and I had there's all this stuff being found. Look at that. I mean,
yep.
that
Bronze Age
yeah,
stone.
yeah. This is all gears, man. Now,
Oh, definitely.
the
Yeah,
thing is, right? This is my thought. Okay,
yeah.
maybe. So there's all this. I was trying to find. Uh, it's bloody everywhere, John. I should have been a bit more organized. But yeah, I found
No,
there's these gear sets that I saw.
much better than I am. I'll tell you.
Um, I mean,
Is
there's
the
here's the
yeah,
schist disc. You know what I
the
mean? Like,
schist disc.
yeah.
Yeah,
And we
that
got to
was
remember
a
that's black diorite. That's stone,
yeah,
right? I mean, how do
right,
you do that?
right,
How can
right,
you
right.
do that?
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you ever seen glass blowers, but I don't,
oh, they're unreal.
glass.
They're very
Yeah,
talented. Yeah.
you get a good glass blower, and get the diorite up to that temperature where you can mold it and move it around. You might have a good shot of somebody making something like that.
Mm,
I'm
mm.
not saying it's gonna be easy, but this thing was found at what's his name there? It was in a tomb.
Yeah, it's one
I
of the
forget his
tombs. Yeah.
name. Yeah, I got a video on that. That was actually part of a distilling, the top of a distiller where this guy was making perfume or medicines or acids.
Hmm.
So that he would steam it up, and those the material would go up and condense on that, and it would drip down into an inner pot. You know,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
he was an apothecary. He was your local pharmacist. His name will come to me, but
No, that's
maybe
okay. It's all right. But I'm just looking at this stuff.
another opinion I got.
No, no, that's fine, mate. That's fine.
I got
No,
another
no.
video on it, but hey, that video is actually doing pretty good. I never get any negativity on it anyway. No
Mm,
arguments. It's like
mm,
the evidence is there. This guy, he was entombed with hundreds and hundreds of little tiny bottles.
yeah,
So the dude was making something.
yeah,
He
yeah.
was
Well,
he's
I
a
mean, the
perfume
thing is that
guy,
the
medicine. You
yeah,
know,
you've got the power of the lotuses, man. Like all the stuff that comes out of Egypt.
yeah,
The
yeah,
blue
and that's
lotus,
what.
the number of different lotuses. They're all used. They're all
Oh,
medicinal properties.
yeah,
My wife's into all that stuff. She knows
everybody
about.
dropping. Yeah, what do you call it there? What's the flower there? It's a hallucinogenic. There.
I think it's the
Uh,
blue lotus, isn't it? It's the
oh
lotus
yeah, the
flower.
blue lotus. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah,
said
yeah, 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 yeah.
that.
Yeah,
But
no,
anyways, yeah. So he might have been like concentrating the products. So
mm,
you really get your you're tripping your brains out, you know.
Yeah. Oh, look.
So
Well, but the thing is, every culture did that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Every single
yeah,
culture had some sort of psychedelic
yeah,
medicine. You know, they're finding the mushroom wines in Europe and all that sort of stuff. It's like,
oh yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
yeah, just a few of these pictures that I'm starting to put together. The other
yeah.
thing
There
is
you go. That's in
that
Japan, I think, right?
yeah, this is the China. This is the Yangshan
Oh, it's in
quarry
China,
in
right?
China.
Yeah,
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 yeah. But I mean, how did they cut underneath it, John? That was the one that's like, how did you like? It's unbelievable
yeah,
how they actually did it, right?
yeah,
You
yeah. I
know,
mean, well, I think start looking at water cutting technology. I mean, the stuff they're doing today is unbelievable. They're cutting steel with
mm,
water, literally
mm.
steel.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and it's just it's like how are you doing that? You
Well,
know,
that's what
so
that's what
that's how
a
high
good
pressure
CNC
that water
machine
is.
is. That's what a good CNC machine is, isn't it? It's all water
Yeah,
cutting. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. They do the whole thing in water. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But
Instead of using diamond tool bits, you know.
mm, do you
Yeah,
think though, John? One of the questions I'm wondering, right,
yeah,
is see what we do as humans is
right.
uh we adapt our understanding of whatever happened in the past to our highest
Mm,
technology. Okay,
mm.
so our highest
Yeah,
technology at the
exactly.
moment is water jets, lasers, that sort of stuff.
Jet engines. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
What if it's something completely different, John?
Right.
Right?
Well,
What
yeah,
if
we're only as good as the science of the day, our
yeah,
guesses, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I
But
mean
yeah, it could be anti-gravity stuff,
mm,
gravity manipulation.
well that was actually
Uh,
hey, that's interesting you say that. That was that's on my little list here, John, because we were talking a lot
yeah,
about gravity. What
yeah,
we can come back to some of this. It isn't finished, right? So maybe I'll get you back on when I finish my slideshow,
yeah,
my presentation, because it's I
yeah.
need more time to try and join it together. Um,
Right.
I mean, oh,
Yeah.
actually, here's you would have seen this one before. I'll show you this one, but this looks like a bloody control panel, John.
Let's
Uh,
see.
you know, they found
Yeah,
one in
yeah,
South.
yeah. There's some stuff down in South Africa that's just mind-boggling.
That's
Yeah,
a
look at that.
control
Look at the
panel. It looks like a control
yeah,
panel for something. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like it's I don't know what
yeah,
it
yeah,
is, but
yeah. You got the hieroglyphs. You got the birds.
mm,
You got
mm,
that. That's obviously in Egypt, I would say.
yeah,
It has to be.
this is it. Yeah, this is an Egyptian one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But there's
yeah.
other stuff like that, like the stuff out of India as well is unbelievable.
Oh, India is
Um,
like loaded with this stuff.
the
Yeah,
single
yeah,
piece granite temples, like they just just carved the mountain out, and the temple
yeah.
is one piece. It's one
Right.
piece of granite. It's
Yeah,
not.
that's Kailash. Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah,
Kailash
yeah.
Temple. They
Unreal,
actually
unreal.
mirror image of Mount Kailash, the actual overall shape, and it's like 100 miles to the east or west. I forget whereabouts, but Mount Kailash and Kailash Temple,
Mm,
they have the same somewhat really close shape.
mm,
It's like
mm,
a almost like a square uh, rectangular thing that shoots off the side of the mountain, and you have the same thing that happens at Kailash Temple. Probably screwing up
mm.
the pronunciation,
That's
but
okay.
it's ironic. It's like close to each other. The Himalayas, and
Well, these guys, whoever they were, John, they could operate on a scale that we don't understand,
yeah,
right? I mean,
right.
you've got the Nazca lines all through South America. You've got the hieroglyphs that you can only see from the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever these people were, they could do this stuff. You know, and I suppose that one of the things I wanted to ask you about because we spoke a lot about gravity
Yeah,
in the last episode. But what about anti-gravity tech, man? I mean, where do you stand? Obviously, there's a lot of crazy things that have happened the last few years, John. But the fact they confirmed that UFOs are real, which therefore means maybe aliens are real, and no one gives a
yeah,
shit, is pretty funny. Um,
yeah. We're all burnt out, dude. They
yeah, yeah,
can't
it
get a
does. Yeah,
rise
yeah.
out of us
It's
anymore. We
just
don't give a
whatever, man. Whatever,
shit.
whatever.
Bring it on. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Well, I think one of
can
my
they can they cook? You
yeah,
know?
one of my favorite memes, John, is like the aliens are going to be super confused when they come down and like we're gonna what is it we're gonna
Yeah,
kill your leaders. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Do you need a hand? What do you need,
yeah.
man?
Yeah. There's a big white building, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's over there. Look, come, we'll take you, man. Come, we'll take you. We'll take you. We'll sort it out. I'm like what? Yeah, we've come to overthrow your governments. Cool. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. That's great. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. I mean, we ought to tone it down with the alien stuff. You calling the people aliens that actually split your DNA 500,000 years ago. They think gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
That's true.
we're the aliens. They're
Yes,
the
we are.
gods. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So
You
what
know?
do you think about all this stuff, mate? We're because obviously it's pretty thick and fast on the ground now. Because I mean,
Right.
what's your thoughts on the current UFO UAP stuff coming out? And all
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I had my own UFO experience, so I didn't, it was
Well, hang on a
backed
minute.
up.
Don't go past that. Tell me about your UFO experience.
Well, I was just cruising down the highway, and I've been around the military. I was in the military. I've seen the latest, and everything like that. And I'm like, and I see this thing in the sky, miles away, and I'm like, it was like a distortion in the sky. And I was like, well, that's not a cloud. It's not a weather balloon, and it was moving,
The
jumping across the sky.
swamp gas, John.
You know,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It was the original chemtrail, right?
yeah.
So, I was looking at it, so I'm like, that's weird. And I was, somebody else was driving next to me, and I was trying to get their attention, but they weren't seeing. I'm beeping the horn, saying, "Hey, look at that, look at that." But it
Mm.
was like I was alone. Anyways, I got to my destination an hour earlier. My clocks had changed in the truck, and like this one of this truck, you had to like get the owner's manual to change the time. It's not something you could do by mistake.
Yeah.
And then anyways, I was joking around when I got down to the Boston. It was like 2.5 hour ride, and I got down there an hour early. I didn't realize I got down there an hour early until I got to the house I was going to, and I noticed the clock was like, "What time is it? I left at like 10. I shouldn't be here until 1. Until 12. Well, what the hell's
Mm.
going on?" So I didn't think about it. And then I talked to family. I said, yeah, I said, my people are coming to get me. I saw, finally I'm getting the hell out of here. Like I saw some shit in the sky. I think I'm freaking crazy. We're having a couple of beers, a good laugh. So I'm just like ready to forget the whole thing. And then my sister-in-law yells out the window at me and say, "Hey, John, the two Swiss pilots just reported seeing a UFO in the same area you did, right?" And back then in the 90s, 90, I think it was 97,
Mm.
that was career suicide. Like, pilots did not come
Yeah.
out and
No.
say, "Hey, I
No
saw a
one said
UFO."
anything back then. No way. Yeah. No
Yeah.
way.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, those Swiss air pilots, they seen the same thing. But what I was seeing was the gravitational torque underneath, and they
Yeah.
were seeing structure. They were seeing massive, I mean, they were talking like 300 foot long craft, and all sorts of high tech, angular stuff and structure and everything else. And
So
so I guess
you were seeing the gravity distortion underneath
I
it.
was seeing the underneath, which makes sense. And a lot of times, that's what people see from the bottom.
Mm.
They're seeing a distortion of a space-time distortion of the
Mm.
gravitational field in the air, in the
Mm.
sky, which is basically, if these people like zipping from galaxy to galaxy, they're driving, they have gravitational propulsion systems,
Yeah.
where they're,
Absolutely. Yeah.
they're tweaking. So, and then going full circle, that's probably why I slipped an hour in my time. You know what I mean? They were screwing with the whole time in that area or whatever. But
Well, I
either
mean,
that, you know,
if they
I might have got abducted, but they threw me back. So this kid's
no, no, no,
brain
no,
didn't
yeah,
change.
yeah.
You know,
You can't take this one. He's damaged.
yeah, it was drinking way too much. It's like, we got to get another specimen.
So, did you have any other sort of distortion, or was it just did you even notice, or you just slip time like
Yeah,
you?
no, I just slipped time, and I was just cruising. And like I said, I didn't know, I had no reference other than the clock was different from where I was. There was a time difference from the truck clock and the regular house clocks.
Mm.
But going full circle, once the Swiss pilot thing came in, I read up. I was like, then it hit me. I was like, oh, I saw something, like
Yeah.
something. So it really, it was a little unsettling. You know what I mean? It was, but you just, like anything, you just go about your daily business and keep going. So
So
But
what's your
who knows?
thoughts?
Maybe they threw all this crap in my head, this pyramid stuff, and the
Mate,
moon
I was
stuff.
gonna say, man, maybe you got
It's gonna,
downloaded, yeah?
like
Maybe you got
yeah,
downloaded, yeah.
they throw a little information in the DNA strands.
Mm.
It might have been something to make it a little bit easier for me to troubleshoot. I
Actually,
was a good
here's an
troubleshooter.
interesting question. Post
Yeah.
1997, were you
Yeah.
already in the rabbit hole, or was it after that you got in the rabbit hole?
Uh no, I was in the rabbit hole when I was a kid, I think. Like, kids operate on alpha brainwaves. Alpha
Yeah.
brainwaves, generally infants up until 5-year-olds, they
Mhm.
literally mimic the same brainwave as somebody on DMT or
Yeah,
LSD,
absolutely. Yeah.
tripping their brains out. And
Yeah.
I don't think I ever left that.
You
I think I
never stopped. Yeah.
was just drifting.
No,
I
yeah.
was
Look,
always beaten to a different set of bongos. I tried to
yeah,
drop out of school in the third grade. They sent me off to the shrink. What's going on with little Johnny? And then,
yeah. Well, this is the thing, mate. We are
he's
kindred.
not
We are
he's
we
not like
are
all the other kids. You know what I mean? So anyway,
we're kindred spirits, John. Because I think that
yeah,
the last show that I did, someone asked me, goes, "Oh, when did you get in the rabbit hole?" I'm like, "Oh, mate, did I don't remember. It's dead.
yeah,
You.
yeah.
What's it? The
So it,
Batman. It's the Batman thing. You
it
were
was
merely
like,
visiting. I mean, born here. I was born in the rabbit hole, mate.
right, right. I helped dig it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was on the
I
original
gave
crew. Yeah.
I named Alice.
So what do you
But
think? What do you
yeah,
think
yeah,
about all this stuff that's coming out now, mate? Do you think it's a bit of a Project Bluebeam? Do you think they're trying to
yeah.
distract us, or
It's just a bunch of nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, I think. I mean, it's like people. It's like people at this level of technology. I mean, we're only running around 10% of our brain, right? They got 100%. You know what I
mm,
mean? And like we were talking earlier, like you can will stuff into existence, like 6 million ton pyramids. You just think about it long enough, it's going to be there.
yeah,
With granite chambers.
yeah,
I don't think it's that bad, but yeah. So like, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's an insult to the to us people that are in a rabbit hole. You know what I
mm,
mean? I think it's an insult, just to play around with it, and use it as like a technology, or a methodology for, I don't know what is the end game. Like, I don't even
yeah.
think they know what the end game is. Like, who's
No,
in charge? I don't think anybody knows. You know what I mean? So you
that's
got
it's a very interesting question, and I mean, with the
yeah,
anti-gravity technology stuff, I mean, up until the early 1950s, anti-gravity was the next big technology, and then around
oh,
1954, it
absolutely,
just disappeared. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
do
yeah.
do you
There you
think
go.
we do you think we mastered it in the background? Do you think they mastered it?
I
The
Yeah, I believe it's pretty it's not like I mean, basically, to manipulate gravity you need mass, like
mm,
mass. A ball, whatever, a heavy cup, whatever. And then when you got this going on, and then you rotate it, you move it around, you cause you in essence you would cause an unbalance,
mm,
an imbalance, in mass.
mm,
And because everything has a field, you have a field, I have a field, we all have a micro gravitational field. So
mm.
in order to manipulate gravity, you have to manipulate the it with mass. I don't think that,
Isn't it
I know Nassim Harriman's doing stuff with laser beams and lights and all that stuff. I don't think that's going to pan out for any gravitational propulsion system. And then
mm,
you're screwing around with time. Also, you're screwing around with
mm.
time. So that's like it gets a little deeper and deeper and deeper. But
Here
there
you
are
go.
simple. There has been simple um, rotating mass devices that have um, you know how can I put it? Defy gravitational
Here you go.
forces on the planet. They've gotten them to rise. They've gotten, yeah, there you go, flywheels, things of that nature.
Mm,
So
mm. So
so what you
this is Otis Carr, right? Otis Carr
Oh, this guy was great on TV. He had the flywheels and
Yeah,
spinning them
yeah, yeah,
around. And he was
yeah,
on the Ed Sullivan Show or Johnny
yeah,
Carson doing some
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
There was a guy up in England. He was doing a lot of things with flywheels with balls, spinning balls, and then
Mm.
getting the whole system to rise up and things of that nature. But so there is it's pretty to me. I mean, I've given it some thought, but it's all rotating mass. I remember I sent a couple of experiments off to a German physicist to try to manipulate the gravitational field on, say, like a 1 pound block with a spring attached to it. I put some rotating stuff next to it that'll lighten up the field around it. So just say you got like a 20-pound spring tension on something that's pulling a phone this direction, right?
Yeah.
And it's stationary, it's static, it's not moving. And then you put some stuff that's rotating around it without touching it and having it completely separated from wind, vibration, completely. There's no way of manipulating the mass by vibration or wind or anything
Mm.
like that.
Mm.
So I had some. I mean, they were like interested in my thoughts. They were like, we've never even seen any experiments like this. I said, well, try this, try that.
Did
Had a
it
little
did
bit
it
of a
did it
go
lighten the
around.
mass? Did it manipulate the mass? Did it lighten it up or
It
no?
never. It kind of fell outside their experimentation.
Mm.
Ideas. Like they were more interested in lifting things. Like a cup 2 feet off the ground. I'm like, well, first you have to make the bar lighter before we can start moving, cups around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, 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 yeah.
it's like baby steps. But yeah, so
But
it's
they are
it's definitely.
levitating. There is some. I'm trying to remember who. I think it might be MIT. Doesn't
Yeah,
MIT have
yeah,
have like the levitation? They can make stones levitate.
yeah. They're using magnetic fields though.
Yeah, magnetic
They're
fields.
not.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's a different. It's not gravity manipulating. You're not manipulating the gravitational field on the planet. But I think they've squashed a couple of systems that would noisy, loud. I mean, you had the Nazi bell there.
Mm-hmm.
That thing was held on by chains. That was all spinning, mass inside the bell, and it would levitate on its own and things of that nature. So that came out of the Sanskrit, or is
Mm.
it the Vedas that the
Yeah, yeah. The Vedas. Yeah, yeah.
Germany was the first one to transcribe it into a Western language
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
from India, and then it went
Mm-hmm.
to English and a bunch of other languages. But I mean, Tesla's got some stuff in there. You look at Tesla's
Well, this is Tesla's
patterns.
stuff. The Otis
Okay,
car stuff was Tesla's
yeah.
stuff.
So he's got rotating balls in there that I could see that. For me,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like you
He
have to
calls it
have.
the Utrons. Yeah, he calls them Utrons. But the
Is that
thing
what it
about
is?
the
Yeah.
Utron is no one knows what the Utron was made out of. He never told anyone what
Okay.
the Utron was because I did a deep
Yeah.
dive on
Yeah.
Otis Carr because I got
Oh, did you? Yeah.
yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, 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 and he didn't get killed. I don't know who he knew, but he didn't get killed. He
Yeah.
just got sent to
Yeah.
jail for 30 years for $5,000. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why you gotta be careful. Like, I mean, I should like. I mean, I know a lot more of what you're talking about, though. It's like where we, what I mean. You gotta be careful. You got the men in black, or the men in white, even worse. They just lock you up in the insane asylum.
yeah, that's right. Just rubber stamp you and throw away the key.
But it's like you gotta, you're not gonna patent anti-gravity, so forget that. You don't want to, I mean,
Yeah, no, no one's
the
going to let
oil,
you
the
patent that
oil
one. No.
economy, the oil economy, psycho, mental defective nutbags that are running the planet are serious about maintaining
Control.
that fund, that
Mm,
revenue stream.
hmm
They don't, they got used to it, and they don't want anybody coming in with anti-gravity. I mean, you could just think you could lighten up a tractor trailer a little bit, just to give it maybe 100 miles per gallon, because you've basically cut the weight of it in half.
Yeah, that's
where
right.
you
Yeah,
get
just
100 mile,
yeah, a little
you
bit
can
of
increase.
electromagnetics along the
Yeah, you
cab.
can
You
do
could just yeah,
electromagnetic field, or you could actually just manipulate the gravitational field of the engine,
yeah,
or the cab itself. I mean,
mm,
most tractor trailer cabs are like 30,000 pounds. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah,
holy
yeah, yeah,
shit.
absolutely. Yeah.
You can lighten it down to like 10 or 8,000
Mm,
and still have the same torque and, and capacity to pull something heavy.
mm.
You're talking about a serious savings in fuel economy. So it's a lot of it.
Which
That's
even
what you're
yeah,
overcoming.
but
We're
even
overcoming the Earth's gravitational field and wind when it comes down to it.
mm, I mean,
But
even simpler than that though, too, John. Just a bit of hydrogen technology as well. Like that's
yeah,
yeah, you
yeah.
got a car that can run on a cap of water for 500
Hmm.
miles. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's not going to
Oh
make
yeah,
anybody any money though, is it? That's not going to make you any money.
right, right. Yeah, and you start, like look what Stanley Meyer had the Volkswagen, a dune buggy driving down the road on what, a gallon, getting 100 miles per gallon of water or something like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
And that was basic
and
technology.
they poisoned his ass at a restaurant. So
Well, I think
he
they
just
so
got some money. He had just gotten some money to start manufacturing, the actual the splitter or whatever it was
yeah,
he
whatever it
had.
was, yeah. Because there's the
Yeah,
Thunder generator. Actually, Randall Carlson's in on that. There's a Thunder generator that there's also coming out. They reckon they can attach to
yeah,
internal combustion engines that makes it more efficient and no need for fossil fuels, and that's all using sacred geometry and
yeah,
anti gravity, Tesla's
right,
documentation and all that sort of stuff.
yeah,
Um, I know there was the guys. There's been a few Aussie guys over the years that have had some good inventions.
yeah,
There was a couple of Aussie blokes down in Melbourne who they invented a tire they invented a tire and a rubber compound that was good for 100,000 miles.
yeah, yeah.
All
I
right.
think I saw something like that. All of a sudden they
Yeah.
were gone. Like
Yeah,
they
they
bought it.
disappeared. Yeah, they're gone. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. They might be around, but I mean, all of a sudden the idea was gone, and you
Dunlop,
never
no,
saw it come to production. You
the
know?
story from down here is that is Dunlop knocked on their door and went,
Yeah.
here's $100 million. Shut
Yeah,
up.
we'll take the patent. Yeah, well, that's what it is. Yeah,
Is that
I
man?
think I saw the guys. They made the tire.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
showed it. And they brought the tire out. It looked like a normal
And it's a
tire. And
normal tire, yeah. And it just never
yeah,
ran out. It just never
yeah,
stopped wearing, yeah.
right, right.
There was the
Doesn't
other
wear. Didn't
there was
wear.
the other guys. So we talk about hydrogen fuel cells because obviously the problem with
Yeah,
hydrogen fuel cells, it's under pressure, can explode.
yeah,
So
yeah.
another couple of Aussie boys, they designed
Yeah.
it was almost like it was like a paper mache slash
Right,
fiberglass slash carbon weave tank,
right.
right? Because it's like, oh,
Okay.
we can't make hydrogen cars because if everyone runs into each other, it'll explode. So these
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
made a tank that basically crushed. You know what I mean? It didn't
Right.
explode. It would
It didn't
fracture.
rupture. It didn't
Yeah, yeah,
rupture.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It'd fracture and allow the gas to escape without
Right.
explosion. And yeah,
Awesome.
I haven't heard about those guys for a while either.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, one of those guys,
yeah,
yeah.
they're
But
gone as well.
yeah, I
Uh,
mean, yeah, splitting the atomic bond of H2O is, I play with that. I've had a couple of contraptions in my cars that when I was commuting a lot, I'd be trying to like get, I'd be splitting the bond with, what do you call it? With electricity, anode,
mhm.
cathode anode, 12-volt DC, and just watching the hydrogen. But I was sucking it right in as fast as I was making. It was getting sucked into the engine.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it's really load intensive because it's a big electrical load on the engine. So you're definitely taxing the generator and the battery system
mm,
to make this thing happen. So, well, I did dabble. I have, I play around with some ideas on paper on, we're talking about just a molecular bond here. It's not like it's not impossible to
no, not at
get
all.
that to loosen it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Just to weaken it a bit, so you don't have to use as much electric current, and
Hmm.
then it pops apart.
Mm,
So.
mm.
So I mean, you get the right people in there, but again, people come up with it, they put a patent in, they go missing, or they get bought off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Well, they get bought out, and then then they shoot
You know?
themselves in the head twice just to make sure.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So, they don't, it's simple. It's simple science. They have fuel cells where they run natural gas across
Hmm.
the cell, a fuel cell, and they break the atomic bond with a very highly advanced metallurgy, and they just flow a little bit of current, and they flow across. And when the molecular bond is breaks, just say with natural gas, it's like a lot of carbon, and I
Hmm.
forget the complete makeup of the
That's all right.
natural gas, but when that fractures, it releases a lot of electricity, and
Mm.
the cell itself absorbs the current, goes through the diodes into a battery, and it's like it just charges the battery up. They have these things that it's a company called Plug Power. It's like the size of a refrigerator. You have a gas line going in, an exhaust going out. The only exhaust is like a little methane gas, but it goes across the fuel cell, breaks the molecular bond, and it absorbs the electric current, and it's enough to charge a battery and basically power your whole house.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like a company like GE bought this company,
Hmm.
they didn't bury it, but they just dragged it along and stopped it from going public because it was interfering in their business model for just
Yeah.
large power plants.
The wires everywhere. Yeah. Exactly.
Everybody's got the meter on the house. They didn't want the individual going down buying $2,000 for a battery and
And then
a
just
fuel
plugging it in.
splitter,
Yeah.
and then just tie it into the panel, gas line going in, electric current going to the panel, and
Yeah.
and
And you
yeah,
don't
so they
need it
were,
anymore. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they don't need all the wires, the poles, the power plants, and all that stuff. So
So you don't. So I mean, obviously you have an in depth. Like you said, you got opinion on everything. I like it, John. So
yeah, yeah,
the
right, right,
the
yeah, yeah.
variation of technology that we're
It's
discussing
hard to make
today.
friends, but go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
I'm your friend, mate. I'll be your friend.
All right, I got
But
a
that,
friend in Australia.
but
That's right.
the
All right,
problem we're
that's a
as crazy
start.
as each
That's
other,
a
John.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Just
Sorry.
we just got to we just got to find each other on the internet, man, and just got to create a support group. You know what I mean? Because we're all
Right,
crazy.
right. I'm telling you. Yeah, yeah,
So to me, so my background
yeah.
is
Yeah,
logistics.
you're similar. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
similar
Yeah,
background.
my background was logistics, oil and gas, drilling, that
Yeah,
mining, that sort of thing, right?
yeah.
From a logistical perspective, because I used to be in another life. I was a logistics specialist, right? The weird and
Right.
wonderful. You call me.
Yeah,
You boys design it and make it work and all that sort of stuff. Then you give me a ring, and I get it from one place to the other, where however
right.
that needs to happen,
I'll
right?
ship it to you in one piece. Yeah,
Ships, planes, trains, whatever you need, right?
yeah.
And because I look at it, part of the thing is I look at all these megalithic structures from a logistic perspective. Because you just said before, right? It's like for whatever reason, they could just will this stuff into existence. It's like, well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's one way to look at it. But a
yeah,
75-ton lintel block, there's five of those in the King's Chamber, I think,
right. Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
250 foot in the air, and they're on an angle, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
How did they put that into place? Now,
Right, right.
to,
Yeah,
to,
yeah. They were definitely 70-ton granite beams,
yeah, man.
and granite's quite fragile, actually.
Actually, that was
I've
something
worked with
that was
granite.
something I had to ask you, right?
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
had
Granite, you pick that up in the middle, it's going to crack in half.
yeah,
It's not something you're gonna, you got to be very. It's got to be cradled, like you
mm,
said, logistics. You got to,
yeah.
move it up, it's moving around, and.
Well, honestly, man, I think the more and more I look at this stuff, and look, Baalbek is probably the one, and then some of the
Malbeck's
stuff
crazy,
coming out of China, and
man.
some of the megaliths out of Japan, they're massive, right?
Yeah, yeah. Thousand tons. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, there had to be some sort of anti gravity, John, or some electromagnetic. Like you said, they had to be able to
yeah,
make it lighter. Because
yeah,
if you even the stones that are in the Temple of Baalbek,
yeah.
um,
Yeah, they have some of those thousand pound
yeah, there's nine
square
of them. There's nine of them. There's nine of them on that
in
plateau. Yeah,
in
in place.
place
Yeah,
in that as the foundation
yeah,
stones. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we could not do that today, John. with the biggest
Right.
crane and the biggest truck and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
not to mention the road, right? Because then
Right.
you got to put 1,000 tons worth of
Oh
pressure
yeah.
down on the road in order to move this thing, in order to get it up the hill, and then you got to locate it in place.
Yeah.
And people just sort of wave their hand like, oh yeah, they just put it there. Now that's not how
Yeah.
that works, man. You know what I mean?
No,
That's
no.
not how that
Yeah,
works.
they definitely had, they had, a way of manipulating a large gravitational field in certain areas, like
Mm.
changing the gravitational field on the planet, just so they can move that stuff around, in that localized area. I mean, not the planet.
So you reckon it's a lot? You reckon it was a localized gravitational field
Technology.
generator?
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
something. It could have been. Well, look at me. I lost an hour. I'm looking at the thing. They could have had, they could have just flown their little jet, gravitation propulsion, UFO over a certain area and just parked it there and lowered the gravitational field, and they could slide this thing into place. I mean,
Mm.
it's something simple as
Just
that.
just put a 500-ton block on your shoulder, mate. And just
Yeah,
walk
yeah.
it.
You just give it a push and boom. A couple of ropes and pulleys. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're talking about craft that's bouncing, galaxy bouncing,
Mm.
I mean, they're manipulating the gravitational field, and a lot of times it's a slingshot effect because when you're in deep space, there's really no gravitational field to manipulate.
No.
So you got to come into a planetary or a sun that has a gravitational field and absorb that and slingshot you in the right direction you want to be
Yeah.
catapulted until
Because
you
yeah,
get
because
to
we
another
were having that
place.
discussion about the anti gravity tech as well. It's like so it's yeah.
Yeah,
So from planet to planet, how do you actually what's your propulsion system from planet to
yeah,
planet? But I wonder whether it's the ion generators. You know what I mean? Because I know they've been
yep,
testing some of those ones as well, and
yeah,
they're acting. I mean, even like a scramjet, you take a basic scramjet, it doesn't need fuel. It's operating on
right,
condensed oxygen. If there
right,
is if there is something that the theory that I was working with, and I had to back out of it. A mate of mine, I've got to get back in touch with him.
yeah,
He's deep in that. He's deep in the rabbit hole with that stuff.
right.
But if is
Yeah.
there like if there was some
And
sort
the
of like
scramjets like the World War II Nazi buzz bombs
yeah,
drop down and boom, and
yeah,
shot of fuel, ignite, and then it would lose velocity, and then it would dive again, and it would ram the oxygen
yeah,
into a combustion chamber. They'd light it off again, and it
yeah.
would get another pump. So
Because
yeah,
I know the X-59. Is it the X-59? You
that
know, this is
ramjet, yeah,
yeah,
it's like a
that's it.
square, a
Yeah,
rectangular
intake. Yeah,
inlet, yeah, intake, yeah,
yeah. But what if there is like a because obviously, there's the five elements, John, isn't there, right? Earth, air, fire, water, but there's ether, all right? Ether is the
yeah,
thing that joins everything else together, all right? Everything is attached to the ether, but the ether
right,
is non-corporeal. We can't identify it, but it's that
right.
nothing
Yeah.
exists without it. You know what I mean? It's that is
Well,
the
it's
thing
more,
that joins everything else together.
yeah, it could be the gravitational field. You know what I mean? Just the G forces pulls everything together from every mass. Like mass and things of that
But you
nature.
don't think I was wondering in deep space, when we talk about some of these craft, if
Yeah.
there's like an ether motor. You know what I mean? There's an ether
Oh,
generator
okay. All right. I see
using
what you're saying.
using
Yeah.
using the vacuum of space and whatever's because it wouldn't be
Yeah.
nothing, right? I know we think that it's nothing, but we're idiots. Okay,
Yeah. I
we
mean, yeah. I mean, it's like yeah. I mean, you could have an explosion to propulse you, like a
pulse
series of
engines and
explosions
yeah,
that on the back end of it, at the engine,
mm,
detonates, boom, boom, and you keep hitting it and hitting it and hitting it until you because there's no resistance. You got no gravity. You've gotten away from the gravitational pull of the planets, the sun, and everything, and there's
mm,
no there's no air resistance, so there's nothing to slow you down.
mm,
So you
mm,
just need to be what do you call it? It's a process of just keep bouncing up. Like they have like solar sails that would keep increasing the speed exponentially. That just holds it, just more or less collects the solar sun, the
mm,
way that the rays of the sun going at light speed, and you keep holding it up because there's no resistance up there,
Mm.
and you exponentially increase your speed.
Yeah, because there's
Speed
nothing
of
stopping
cruising
you.
to.
There's
Yeah,
no
there's no resistance at
yeah.
all. So you're running off the actual rays, of a light rays off of a star, to
Mm,
get you up to speed.
mm,
I mean, some
mm.
thoughts like that. It's like, I
So do
mean,
you?
you're propagating. I mean, there's ways to propagate the speed of light. Like you go at the speed of light, but you stick your flashlight out. You're on a spacecraft and you put your flashlight out, and that beam's going faster than
Then you
the
are, yeah,
craft
yeah,
you're on.
yeah.
And so that you've propagated the speed of that light.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because that's going the speed of light. Then you put another light on. I don't know. It gets deep.
It does get deep. I mean,
Yeah,
where do
yeah,
you
yeah.
where do you sit?
You
Where
know?
do you sit, mate? Because I wanted to talk a bit more about the underground because obviously there's water underground. We've discussed that. There's definitely
Yeah.
water underground. But
Yes. Yeah.
if you talk about obviously since we last spoke, Graham Hancock's series came out on Netflix,
Yeah.
and he focused in on Darren Caillou,
Yeah.
and all these underground massive looks like safe spaces. You know what I mean? Like they look like they're retreating into the earth
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
survive these cataclysms, right?
Right.
But
Right.
but my thought was, thinking about your stuff, if it's
Yeah.
water, being
Yeah.
underground is probably not a good idea. You know what I
It's
mean?
not a. I mean, yeah. Prior to the flood, you don't want to be digging a hole to a safe bet against the cataclysm. You want to be up on a mountain, and
Yeah.
that's why, like, uh, what do you call it up in Peru there, Machu Picchu,
Mm.
Himalayas. You
They're
know,
right up there.
I mean, you got a lot of mountains that are 20, 30,000 feet up. You could, and that might be the reason that Machu Picchu was there. Aliantambo, places like that. You've got where the walls are up there, and so you if you technologically advance, when the flood's coming,
Mm.
you go to higher ground. You're going to
Mm.
get up above the flood.
So,
Everything on the planet isn't going to be submerged, and
mm.
it's just a mile high.
so
You got
maybe,
mountains that are 5 miles high. You know what I mean?
mm. so
So they
maybe
might be.
maybe some of these underground cities were for the other
Uh,
thing. They were for the
well,
rocks
well,
from the sky. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and then when you get out, and then you go into an ice age, you want to go deep underground. After the flood,
Yeah,
everything's
true.
gone.
Yeah.
You want to go underground during an ice age
Because that's
if
where it's
you're in
warm
that
down there.
area
It's warm
where
down
the
there.
glaciers are coming in,
Yeah.
because you get the heat of the earth, right?
Yeah.
The heat of the earth, the mean average mean temperature, whatever, 50 feet down or 20 feet down is 56 degrees Fahrenheit. You can
Mm.
survive,
Forever.
and it
Yeah.
could be like
Yeah.
it could be 100 below zero with 100-mile-an-hour winds on the planet.
Mm.
So you get like we said at the beginning of the show. There's intense environments on this planet.
Mm.
Whether it's magma, volcanoes. You could have, after the flood, you get, that thing goes down. The water retreats and goes back down to the transition zone. You could have high winds. High winds. You can't 20, 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds, 50-mile-an-hour winds, you're not doing anything.
No.
You're just running for your life.
Yeah.
So you could have an environment where you have, 50 or 100-mile-an-hour winds
All
for
the time.
months and months
Yeah.
at a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're digging down,
Getting
and
underground, getting
so
underground to
yeah,
survive for sure.
yeah, you get down, and I mean that place over by Gobekli Tepe, I don't know, they surmise it could be 20,000 people that could have lived in there, 20,000. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know if that's the right number, but or
Oh yeah,
2,000.
I know
You know,
it's well the thing
it's
is
a,
we talk about the
they get
rabbit.
out like ant farms,
Yeah.
and they kind of, yeah.
Yeah, no, well,
And then,
again, the rabbit holes are never ending. One of the ones
yeah, I
that
mean,
I
it could
got.
have been mines. It could have been gold mines too, and that's what's left over. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's true.
South
Yeah.
Africa. I mean, Africa is loaded with gold mines, deep gold mines. They surmise that the Anunnaki there, what was it? Tellinger, he said they were finding like railroad tracks and tools that were 100,000 years old.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. In
They
Africa,
found.
yeah, yeah. In Africa, they
They
found
think
all
that
sorts
De
of stuff like that.
Beers. They think De Beers actually found gold that was mined by the Anunnaki, threw it on a railroad track, and took it back to Switzerland. or wherever he's from.
Really?
Yeah, like it was
Wow.
already there, dude. You know what I mean? Like it was already smelted. They just grabbed it
Wow.
and took
They just
top of it, you know? Yeah, yeah. I mean,
well, I
the
mean,
country,
there's an interesting question, John. Where is the gold, man? Where is the
where's the
gold?
goal, man? Well, that's what,
Where is the gold? Because
yeah,
in
yeah,
Australia, right?
yeah,
So in Australia,
yeah.
there's a
Yeah,
politician.
big gold down there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and there's a politician down here. So obviously, every country still theoretically has its own gold reserve, right?
yeah,
Which
yeah,
obviously the
yeah.
dollar's not based on that anymore, but everyone has their own gold.
Oh yeah,
And
everybody's yeah. Australia's got good gold reserve.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
we got some of the best gold on the planet. Yeah, and
yeah,
one of the politicians down here during
yeah,
the chaos of the last few years said, "Where is our
yeah,
gold?" Like apparently we've got 20 tons of gold or something like that, and we
yeah,
sent it to England. Why did we send
yeah.
it to England, right? You know what I mean? And then it's like, has anyone seen Australia's gold?
Yeah, we
Anyone?
haven't. Yeah, Fort Knox in the United States. That's been an audit since the '60s,
Yeah.
and no one's been inside it. So,
No.
I think they've moved it. I
Where's the
think
gold, man?
somebody's
Where is the
grabbed it.
gold? Right? Where is the
And then
gold,
and
man?
then if you go back to the Anunnaki, they're down here digging for gold because their atmosphere on Nibiru
Yeah.
needed gold. I think for monoatomic gold, they'd spray it in the atmosphere and it would reflect the light or do something.
Well,
Possibly that's theory.
if they're on the elongated orbit, then they need to have some sort of refraction for
Well,
energy
that's why
for
they
when they're
set
in
us
deep
up.
space. Yeah.
We're our whole uh, sociology on the planet, the core of the whole operation of Earth, the whole of all the societies and all the spin-offs, and it's the core purpose is to get gold while they're
Mm.
doing their rotation. So when they come back, what's the highest price thing on the planet for the most part is gold. Everybody's digging all day, 24/7, 365. So
Mm.
when they come back, they can use whatever they got to get the gold back up to their planet so they can hang out and do another round through the solar
And
system.
the gold thing's
So,
interesting as
so
well, John. You
basically,
know,
we're just here just to get gold for them. That's it.
look, it's not as
But
a few years ago, John. A few years ago, I probably would have bucked against what you just said, but
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
research indicates, man, that could be true. You know,
Well,
could be true.
they mapped the genome. They
Yeah.
split the DNA, created modern man.
But
They
have you
hardwired us. They
yeah.
hardwired us to find gold and water. Like we
Well,
can find it.
mate, look, the thing is about gold, right?
Yeah,
I spent a long time, when I got out of oil and
yeah.
gas.
You're in mining, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
When I got out of oil and gas, I went to
yeah.
gold, right? That's where I went
Right.
to. Okay.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
and I went to when we I've seen two gold bars poured, right? So you get to go in the room and oh look,
Whoa. Yeah.
number one, the guy that pours the gold, he was this
Big money,
crazy
man.
Eastern European dude. He looked like the
Yeah.
mole man, right? He had these glasses and he was crazy.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
crazy. And they
Oh,
said,
yeah.
and he'd been there for years and years and years. He was
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
Slavic dude. And they said, listen, we only allow old mate to pour the gold because it makes you
Yeah.
crazy. And
Right.
he's been here for 15 years and he's already crazy. So we just let him do it. And he was nuts because all he did all day was pour gold, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
remember
There's
being in
something
this little
about it.
shack, right? Actually, I could
Yeah.
probably I could show you where I might. Give me a second.
That's
Um,
wild, man. That's
I
wild.
watched it
Yeah.
get poured, right? And look,
Yeah.
I'm not a gold guy. Okay, like you know how
Yeah.
some dudes love gold. I don't
Yeah.
really care for gold. It's
I
not.
ain't got no gold. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a gold guy, right? I like
Yeah.
metals. Like I
Yeah.
like stainless and I'm
Yeah.
open, but I'm not a gold guy. I don't have that gold thing,
Even, yeah.
But
Silver.
even me, yeah, silver. I
Yeah.
like silver.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that sort of stuff.
Well,
But
palladium, you got
yeah, yeah,
palladium. I mean, you got stuff that's 3, 4 times worth more than gold. Yeah.
yeah,
But go
yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
I like probably more exotic. I'm not. I just don't. I'm not a gold guy. I don't have gold
Yeah.
chains and all that crap.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I watched this gold bar be poured,
Right.
and there was something primal about that, John. It's like
Really? Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
You can
there
see
was
it.
a
Yeah.
feeling, you know what I mean? It's like, oh,
It's an
gold,
energy, man. It's an energy. Yeah.
gold, my precious. My precious. You know
I
what I
can
mean? Like,
grab that bar and run out. I can get outside to make it to the truck. I'm out of here, you know?
that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
But there
yeah, it
is
makes you
something
crazy,
about it.
man.
It makes you crazy, man. It makes you
Yeah, yeah.
crazy. And you know,
Yeah, yeah. Oh
it's
yeah.
it's and there is a thing about us and gold. We have the ability to find gold, you know, like
Yeah, the Anunnaki hardwired that into the DNA. You will
yeah,
get gold,
yeah,
you know,
find
or
gold.
you will support the society. So the end run of society will produce gold.
Yeah, whatever it is, yeah. Whatever, however this
You
works,
know what I mean?
gold is the end result. Yeah.
Yeah, right. We don't care whatever else. I mean, you can make the cars, you can make the trucks, you can make this, da 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 da. But as long as somebody's out there getting gold every day, that's fine. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so where is the gold, John? Like you said, no one's been to Fort Knox.
No
Australia's
one
got
even mentions it.
no.
Yeah. It's gone.
Australia's got
It's been
20
moved.
tons worth of gold and it's gone as well.
Yeah.
Where's it gone?
I mean,
Where's it
well,
gone?
I was thinking with the space shuttle program in the United States, the Anunnaki might have showed up back then in the '90s, and they were shipping the gold up with
Yeah,
those. I mean,
right.
it's a what a, you know these are massive ships. They can you can put like 10 or 100,000 pound payloads in there. I
Mm.
mean, once the gold gets up to upper orbit, it's weightless.
So yeah, it doesn't matter what
You
it
know?
is. Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
they can put it in the Anunnaki spaceship, ship it up to Nibiru. Who knows?
Mm.
Maybe the UFO people came and took it. But you don't hear anybody talk. Although you can go online they will tell you what each country has for gold storage. The United
Yes.
States is like the biggest. I think China, Russia, Gaddafi's place. He was good until they stole his gold.
Oh yeah, they did a number on him, didn't they?
Yeah, because he was getting too wealthy, man. The guy was wealthy, man.
Yeah, well, and as well, like this is the thing about we're diverting a little bit, but
Yeah,
what people don't understand about Gaddafi, if you got married in Libya, he would
yeah.
give you a house. He would give you there was free
Oh
power in
man,
Libya.
yeah. He
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 would
was
he was looking after his people. His people actually loved him.
he
You know what I
loved his
mean?
people.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
made
yeah.
life easier. He had waterworks. He had
Mm,
huge
yeah.
freshwater operations. Yeah, he was
Mm,
doing a lot of good out there. But yeah, he
mm.
ran afoul with the cabal.
Yes, they don't like. Yeah, they don't like that. They didn't
It
give
was,
that.
you're a marked man. You got oil and gold. We're gonna kill you. You know what I
Yeah, oil, gold, water. That's it. You're ours. It doesn't matter.
mean?
It's we're coming
Yeah,
for you.
right. And you're a nice guy. See ya.
Yeah, you can't look after people, man. You can't do that. You can't.
Yeah. What are you doing, man?
Yeah. I mean, do you think? I mean, the other question I had, and look, this is a bit far. You saw
Yeah.
the Nibiru thing.
I saw Nibiru. Yeah,
You
Boston.
already know
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
one of the thoughts I had last night, thinking about
yeah,
talking to you today,
yeah.
and look, this is a far out thought, right? But we're far out anyway. It
Yeah,
doesn't
we're
matter.
out there,
We're
dude.
out there,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's we're out there. We're with Nibiru somewhere, mate. We're out there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because we reviewed a couple of books, 2023,
yeah,
2022, and I've been reading more. And as you say, that never stops, right?
yeah,
The cycle, the astrological cycle, the megalithic cycle that everybody observes, the winter solstice, summer solstice.
yeah,
Number one, I think that they are measuring the solstice and the cycles potentially to measure when Nibiru or whatever Nibiru's orbiting
yeah, yeah.
comes back through the solar system, right?
It's going to
Um,
change the tilt. The first thing that's going to change is the tilt on the Earth. And
well, this is
I got my own like obelisk standing stones. The house. I know when the shadow comes in on the summer solstice, winter solstice.
mhm,
I
mhm.
keep an eye on it because
Yeah, because the
that's
angle
like
will change. Yeah.
yeah. Well, like just say noon on the what was the 21st of December,
Mm.
um, or the 21st whatever the hell it is.
21st of June,
June,
21st of
June,
December. Yeah.
yeah. So you got the summer solstice, winter solstice. Then
Mm.
you have the equinoxes. So either one. But I mark the shadows in my house, and I got standing stones on my property, and so I keep a
Isn't that
close
funny?
eye on it.
Isn't that
Yeah,
funny?
keep a close because I know
Yeah.
Nibiru or other external forces.
Affect that.
Something
Yeah.
big's coming.
Yeah. Well, I do the
Something big.
same thing. My fire pit at the moment
Yeah,
is to this, well, my summer solstice, but your winter solstice,
right.
right? It's
It's
yeah.
it's it's instrumentation. It's
Mm.
instrumentation. That's why they always lined it up there, because they knew the people that made those megaliths, would get a warning,
Mm-hmm.
until it
Yeah,
starts
it's
changing.
changed. Yeah, it's changed.
Yeah, it's like go south, go north, east,
Mm.
west, whatever. Bug out,
Mm.
go high, go low.
Mm. Because the other thing too, right? So there's all
Look
this.
at the Vatican, the center of the Vatican.
Yes,
I stood next to that thing, like I was right next to. I got a picture of myself when I was
next to the old obelisk, the
next
obelisk
to the
from Egypt.
obelisk
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah, yeah,
St. Peter's Square.
yeah.
The obelisk, whatever you want to call it, down at Washington D.C. Another one,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
And they
So,
they both face the solstices as well, don't
oh yeah,
they?
they're lined up and catch the solstice pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah, because the other thing is too. Oh, you said something earlier, right? And yeah, look, the ice as we measured it, as
yeah,
the ice as we used to measure it, yes, is it breaking away and getting less? Yes, it
yeah,
is. However, the reality is the ice chases the poles, man. Okay, so wherever the
right,
wherever the poles are, it's the ice is building. Okay, so it's like
right,
we think that well, it's like that, isn't it? Right, but
yeah,
it's the ice when the poles were sort of up and down, right? That's okay.
yeah,
Now, what's happening is the poles are converging, dude.
right,
They're coming. They're not. You would think they twist like that, right? They're not.
yeah,
What they're doing is they're meeting each other. They're coming together. Now, I wonder.
yeah. Okay,
So, like, because yeah, so the pole, the South Pole is going away from Australia, right, underneath
right,
us, and the North
yeah,
Pole is coming down into Alaska, right? So I think
okay.
it's somewhere
You're talking about the magnetic pole.
the magnetic pole,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
right, the
yeah. Okay,
magnetic pole,
right,
not the physical North South pole, the actual
right.
electromagnetic pole.
Yeah, it drifts. It drifts.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
magnetic field drifts. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but it's drifting this way. Okay, so they're converging. Hang on, where's America?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Wherever it is, where are we? Yeah, it's coming because yeah, Australia's here, so yeah, it's
yeah.
coming. It's going like that.
Right,
Now
right.
I wonder if
Hmm.
the poles are converging
Yeah,
and Nibiru or whatever's Nibiru is
wow.
orbiting is a big
Yeah,
metal planet, right, or a big iron ball.
yeah, yeah,
Is that, like you say, keeping an eye on the stars, keeping an eye on the megaliths, keeping an eye on the solstice?
yeah.
Like it's a warning mechanism, man. It's the
Yeah, it's all instrumentation. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's warnings. You're getting your warning when things start going a couple of feet or whatever. It's
mm,
or a large jump. You see a large jump in a solstice alignment,
yeah.
is something to take serious.
Has yours moved up there, or is it it's been stayed pretty constant? Because I thought I saw and again I'm crazy, so don't listen to me. But
Yeah,
I thought to me because I observe the sun, I observe the stars. It's like it
right.
seems to have moved. It seems to have shifted a little bit.
Yeah, I think
Um,
every year it moves a little bit. Like there's some guy in Mexico on the summer solstice. He puts a stake in where the solstice is, and it's
mhm.
moving. It's moving. I don't know, 5, 10 feet, 15 feet a year lower. So it's like just say so it's going from 23.4 down to 23. But it's
Yeah,
it's taking at this rate, it take hundreds and hundreds of years just to move 1 degree.
yeah.
But that's just a normal
That's
movement.
a
But
normal movement.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I think because I think we've hit our max at 24, 23 and a half, maybe even 24, and then now I think it's swinging back the other way. So it does move, but it's very minimal,
yeah. Mm.
over
Uh,
the whole scale of
the
things.
whole
But
site. Yeah, yeah. We can't
yeah,
see it over
yeah.
the cycle.
But it's the big movements. You know what I mean? That's when you
Yeah.
all of a sudden it used to be 10 feet, now it's 100 feet.
Well, when you
And
talk
it's
about that,
gonna
when you
move.
yeah.
Once it starts moving, it's gonna pick up speed exponentially. It might be 100 feet, then 200 feet, then
Well, with the
further
magnetic
down.
poles, this is the thing about the magnetic poles. When I started looking into this, is they're
Yeah,
accelerating every year. They're
right,
moving
right.
faster, and they're
Yeah,
converging. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Which is not a good thing, right? It's not a
No,
good
no,
thing
it's
for
not
those
good.
people on the other side of the planet. Like they're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, there's
Um,
a big weak spot down off the coast. I think it's the east coast of South America,
Yes,
somewhere
that'd
in
make
that
sense.
area,
That'd make
area of
sense.
the
Yeah.
ocean in between Australia and South America. There's like a real weak part. Like you don't want to be hanging out there day in and day out. You're not because it's just open ocean. But
Yeah.
that's
But no,
where
that
the
is true. That is true. There is a weak part
you're
there.
not
Yeah.
getting the protection from the sun's
Mm.
rays in that
Mm.
area. It's almost like it's different from the ozone, but it's
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
So
different.
any
Yeah.
like just say they had a solar flare or a corona mass ejection, you wouldn't want to be in that area because that stuff is actually making its way. Those alpha, beta, and gamma particles are actually could be making it to the surface of the
Yeah,
earth.
absolutely.
And that
Absolutely.
just destroys flesh.
Oh,
That
look.
kills
And would
people.
destroy and would destroy absolutely everything that we know as far as technology is concerned as
Right.
well. Right? It would just
Right.
everything would explode. Transformers would
Oh yeah.
explode.
Yeah.
Everything would just
Yeah. Because
explode.
the
Yeah.
Earth's magnetic field actually helps protect the field goes up. So that's what makes up the Van Allen belt. So
Yeah.
a lot of the lower orbit satellites, they're all in under the umbrella of the Earth's magnetic field.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, they're
true.
outside
Yeah.
of the atmosphere and they
But
might be
yeah,
zero
they're
G,
within the
but they're
field. Yeah.
still
Yeah.
they're still inside the Van Allen belts, which is the major protection system
Mm.
for radiation coming from the sun.
Well, John, we blasted through 2 hours again, mate. I wanted,
No, yeah,
I wanted to ask you a couple of things.
it's good, man. It's good. It's great.
No,
Yeah,
it's excellent. I love these conversations, mate.
yeah.
So I heard a theory because I know you love the moon, right? And I know you've got a moon
Yeah,
behind you there
that's not a
somewhere.
moon.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
space station. Yeah, yeah, but go ahead. Yeah,
well,
yeah. Yeah, right. That was a statement from Star Wars. That's
yeah,
no
yeah,
moon.
yeah.
That's a space station.
Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
look,
Hey, it
the
pings. They say
theory
it pings.
it
You know,
pings, yeah, it rings like a bell. Yeah, that's
it
right.
rings like a bell. Rings
Yeah.
like a bell. Looks like a space station. Well, it could very well be.
If it was parked perfectly in the exact right space in the exact right spot
I
with
think
one
it. I
degree.
think it's Nibiru, and that's where the gold is.
Oh,
No, I
do
don't
you? Do
know.
you think it's the
Yeah,
moon? Do you? Okay.
I think the moon might be Nibiru.
Ah,
It might have
okay.
just parked itself in orbit around the Earth. Yeah,
Yeah, right. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. The
yeah.
question I had for you, right? Because I know we
Another opinion.
discussed.
Another
Yeah, that's
opinion. But
fine,
go
man.
ahead.
Hey, it's another what we
Like,
one of the
yeah,
founding ideas of the podcast, John, is
yeah, yeah.
collecting tiles on a mirror ball, right? So
Right, right,
when you start, you've got a blank ball, right? So
right.
your job
Play
is to
ball.
gather as much every single
Right.
tiny bit of mirror to make
Yeah,
up the mirror ball. And it doesn't
right.
matter. It doesn't matter. It's good, bad. All perspectives, all knowledge is useful.
Yeah, yeah,
What I wanted to throw at you because I immediately thought of you. I was watching some show, can't remember anyway.
yeah,
Because we talked last time a little bit about, and I've done a bit more research into this.
yeah.
There is multiple cultures, ancient cultures, indigenous
Right.
cultures mainly in throughout Africa and Asia
Yeah,
that speak of a time before the moon, right?
yeah. That's why. Yeah, that's yep, yep.
Right.
Yeah, the Aborigines are like one of the oldest cultures on the planet, and they're the ones that have the time before the moon. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
So
That I did research on. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So my thought was, I mean, and I wanted to talk to you about
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Okay, the moon is parked perfectly where it is, right? The moon
Right.
controls the water, right? It
Yeah,
controls the tidal stuff.
yeah,
So let's pretend that the moon is artificial,
yeah.
and it was parked there. What if
Right.
during one of the last cataclysms, the Earth
Yeah,
didn't self-correct? You know what I mean? Like it was going nuts because the cataclysm was too bad. It
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
self-correct, right? And it's like,
yeah,
oh, we've got to do something to help these guys. So they
yeah.
parked the moon and then locked it in
Right,
the geosynchronous, because it's obviously geosynchric orbit. That's not the right word.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, yeah.
and
Geosynchronous. Yeah,
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 yeah, geosynchronous. That's what I was trying to get to.
yeah, yeah.
And it was parked there to give the Earth some stability,
Stability. Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's 100%. Like if you look at Mars, its moons have been obliterated. they're like a million miles behind. Whatever
Yeah.
the mass of those, I always forget the name of those moons. It's just whatever. But there's a debris field that's actually in the same orbit as Mars that I surmise is the what's left over the actual moons that
Oh,
were
okay. Yep.
they once had, or the moon. It might have been just one moon.
Mm.
But the that all being said, because they don't have a strong moon, the planet Mars actually does a 180-degree or 90-degree flip, like the whole planet just rotates over
Yeah.
because it doesn't have
Doesn't have anything to hold it in
stabilization.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, like a gyroscope, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the gyroscope slows down, it falls over. So in essence, the moon acts like the Earth's gyroscope and keeps it steady.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That all being said, so there's evidence out there that, based on scars and things of that nature, that Mars itself flips over every 300 or 400 years. It just flops over, and then ice builds up, and then it pops back up again. So there's some kind of a
Well,
little
something. I mean, Mars is like a half peeled orange, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like there's like a
yeah,
mile and a half on one
yeah, it
side.
lost all its water, it lost
Yeah.
its moon.
Yeah.
So this
And look, if we,
nonsense you got to bring life back to Mars. The only way you're going to bring life back to Mars, you got to get a moon on it first, then you got to get some water on it.
yeah.
So it lost a lot of its. I think it was technologically advanced as the planet Earth as far as a habitat for life.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think
Yeah.
it was once because it's in the sweet zone. Like they
Absolutely.
say, the planet's in the
It's within
sweet
the
zone.
yeah,
Well,
it's in the Goldilocks zone for sure. Yeah.
yeah, the Goldilocks zone. We're not that. Mars is not that far out,
No.
from where
And
I
I
think it
think
might be. I think it's 3 million miles difference
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
orbit.
It's definitely in the Goldilocks zone for sure.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, look, if you follow the ancient texts and the Anunnaki story, and again, we talk about the Sumerian and the Anunnaki and all that sort of stuff.
right.
It does echo through other cultures as well. Throughout India,
Oh
India
yeah,
reflects
oh
it.
yeah,
Asia
yeah,
reflects it. It's not just the Sumerian text. Everyone thinks we're just
right.
quoting Zachariah Sitchin, but it's not
Yeah,
just Sitchin, right?
no, no,
There's many cultures that do
yeah,
echo the things that we're discussing now. But yeah, there was
yeah,
something happened on Mars, something, that big massive scar out of it. Like,
yeah. It could have been like an asteroid came in and just hit the moon.
mhm.
Like we could have an asteroid. Everybody's like, oh, what if even hits the Earth? Like, you know, that's nothing. We can absorb that. If a fucking asteroid hits excuse the French, the
You're
asteroid
right.
hits the moon, we're
Yep.
out of business.
Yeah, yeah, we're done.
It,
Yeah,
we're
the
done.
delicate
We
balance.
have
Yeah.
major problems.
Mm.
So yeah. So we could if we're technologically advanced, we could just skip over to Jupiter, borrow one of the 100 moons that planet's got, and put it in us, in orbit around us. I mean, you got Europa, which is similarly the same type of building structure as Earth. It has a
It
hot
is.
core.
Yeah,
It's got
yeah,
water,
yeah.
the whole 9 yards. I mean, you need a little bit of work. We could get that thing, split the firmament and get the land to, come be on the surface, and the water to be
Look,
in between its upper and lower.
I wonder how much life is on like Europa, or you know what I
Yeah,
mean. Like we don't really know. We haven't taken, we haven't landed
yeah. I
on
mean,
Europa. Like we don't know.
water's key to life as the forms we understand,
Mm,
anyways.
mm.
But it's possible that there could be life in the ocean, maybe primitive, whatever. But it has all the the building blocks that we have,
Mm.
for life support. So
So I wanted to ask you one more of the rabbit hole questions, and I'm just going to ask you how
yeah,
you doing and how's America. But that's probably
yeah.
maybe we'll see. What's
We
your
can do. I don't care, man. Let it roll, man. Whatever you want to know, I'll tell you what I know. That's all I can.
what's your thoughts on ultra terrestrials, John? Right,
Yeah,
because one of the things that I realized, and obviously there's water under the ocean, that sort of thing. But
yeah,
if we live existing on the surface of this planet
yeah,
is pretty
yeah.
dangerous. You know what I mean? Like if
It
you're a
is.
race of beings that had existed on this planet for say, let's say millions of
You would.
years, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Eventually
yeah.
you're going to go in the ocean because
Right.
the ocean is,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Well, you would
Well,
know, like when
you got
you
the
got a
Hollow
20-foot
Earth thing,
wave
like,
on. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, like
yeah.
the Hollow Earth thing with Admiral Byrd. You got there's openings at the end of the planet, and nobody goes up there anymore.
No, we can't go there, mate.
There was there were expeditions. People going to go up there, find the opening, go see the blue-eyed giants that live up there, but they squashed it. Anybody that's tried to get money to go do an expedition up there,
Mm.
they stomp you right out. You're not going up there. And then they got what do you call it there? Antarctica's off limits to everybody unless
Mm.
you got a pass or you're working as a scientist for the
Well,
country that
you can hang around the edges. They'll let you hang
yeah
around the edges, but
yeah right right.
you can't go
But
in the middle.
that all being said, it would stand to reason that there's probably openings, and like you said, um, if you're a technologically advanced society, you don't want to be hanging out getting blasted by the sun,
Hmm. Or
day
rocks
in and
from the
day out on the
sky, or
surface.
volcanoes, or you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like after a
things of
while,
that nature.
yeah.
It's going to beat on your cellular structure. So if you want to, like some of these characters that were in the Bible. I mean, Noah's living for 800 years. Yeah, Methuselah. All these people,
Mm,
like they did 5, 6, or 10 centuries long. I mean,
mm,
even longer, I think. So
mm,
it would stand to reason that you would be better off being protected from the sun's rays.
mm.
Um,
But also,
you know,
yeah, I mean, obviously, you would
now,
know is
especially what you're talking about right now with the magnetic field getting weaker, and that's a fact.
mm,
More radiation and stuff is coming in. People are
mm,
getting more, or animals, species. There's more cancer.
mm, mm,
Incidences across the spectrum of life. Who knows? It might be environmental also, but it could be the magnetic field getting weaker, and you're getting more rays from the sun, that are causing cellular damage
mm.
and
Well,
things of that nature.
the
So
big question
so
is, John, are they still here?
these
Are they
people
still
would
here,
come.
mate?
Huh?
Are they still here?
Um, it would appear so. I think every once in a while you'll be honest with you, it's like I kind of look at the nuclear age when there was, I don't know, thousands and thousands and thousands of nuclear detonations around the planet, right?
Mm.
And I'm like, and it's serious stuff. I mean, these people,
Very serious,
Oppenheimer,
unbelievable.
I mean, they
Yeah.
were going down like hundreds and hundreds of feet, 40 megaton nuclear bombs, 1,000 times worse than, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so you wonder, is like, well, if there was any intelligent life on the planet, they would have been like, hey, idiots, what are you doing?
And with
Knocking,
what's the other story though too, mate? You know what I mean? There's
yeah,
multiple
yeah,
stories of
yeah,
craft in the UK, in Russia,
right,
in
yeah,
France, even
but
here in
yeah,
Australia, in America, coming over and just
yeah.
shutting them off, right?
And then I'm thinking, okay, look at it like, because I try to look back as a geoscientist, a planet builder, and go, well, what's the benefit of having these nuclear detonations all over the planet? Is there something they wanted to achieve on the planet as a whole?
Mm,
And they let us do this because we're a bunch of nitwits.
hmm. Yeah.
we
The
just,
monkey has fire. Yeah.
we'll just do what we're told. And
Mm.
then you hear that, that you hear from people that are, sitting in MX missile silos, or other people that were involved with having to like push the button, and that the whole systems were shut down. And they
Yep.
said there was spacecraft or lights or some other small entities that came in and just shut down the whole system. So,
Mm.
it's possible. I mean, anything's on the table as far as that's concerned. So,
Mm. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
great
Look,
questions though. I mean, for me, I've pondered that question a couple of times. I mean, obviously they got a sense of humor by letting our
let,
world leaders
yeah,
run the planet.
letting the monkeys control it. Yeah, they think they're pretty funny.
They got a sense of humor, anyways. but I don't know, man. I mean, these are deep philosophical questions that I mean,
Yeah, they are.
I think we did a great job. I hope you're you and your listeners, they listen to the material that we're talking about is really, you know I think it's good that we look at both ends of the spectrum, and people can, absorb that and come up with their own
Oh,
opinions
look,
and things
at
like
the
that.
end of the day, mate, we
So it's
both
like I always
understand
try
that
to,
it was just our
yeah,
opinions.
right,
It's not
right.
gospel. It's
Well, no,
not,
I
it's
always
not
like
for
to,
sure, you know.
yeah, I always like to go at both ends of the spectrum. Like, okay,
Mm,
we went here, and then okay, what's the other argument? So they
mm.
give 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 the whole concept, the devil's what do you call it, advocate.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've got to look at both sides, mate. If you can't, then you
Yeah,
can't form a good
you got
opinion. You
tunnel
know what I
vision.
mean?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got tunnel vision. Yeah, yeah.
you got to know the way broadly, mate. You know what I mean?
Right,
Well, but
right.
look, lastly, I just wanted to ask, how are you, man? I mean, from the outside looking in, America looks like it's a bit of a rough, interesting place at the moment. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
in,
yeah. It's like we got the real division here. Going through the pandemic, you get a lot of there's a lot of ups and downs. There's financial issues going on, budget issues. It's tough. I mean, you got there's a lot of bad things going on over here. There's a lot of good things.
mm,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like, oh no, another year of national politics. It's oh Jesus.
yeah.
But so
We only
we'll
just
we'll
got
see
over
what
the last
happens.
bloody time. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's external. It's not my country,
yeah.
man. You know what I mean? But
Right,
we
right, right.
obviously the American empire is the current empire, isn't it? You know, like
Yeah,
the
it is. It is an empire. It is Rome.
mm.
We got the Roman iconography in the
Oh,
the Senate.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
with the big
yeah.
Roman thing with the wheat and the arrows and all that stuff.
Hmm.
So but I think it's just a process with it's like every empire on the planet. It goes up, and then it just goes down. It's just a
Hmm.
cycle. It doesn't keep going up and up and up. It just it can only eat. It's a self-eating machine, and once the food or the money dries up, it just implodes, and then
No, that's not true, mate. They just print more of it, and that's
yeah,
really helpful.
yeah, but even that's coming. Even though, well, now they're trying to create this cryptocurrency. Yeah, it's the same as the fiat currency. What's the difference? It's an
Yeah,
electron,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's even worse because
Well, that's a control. That's a control method, mate. That's control.
well, that's it. Now you're putting currency in even less hands, less
Mm,
and less
mm.
hands of people that can control things. And the biggest drawback, it's technologically reliant. Some kid
Yes.
right now, some 12-year-old kid is hacking someplace somewhere, and 15, 20 years from now, he's going to hack into the cryptocurrency
Just take the
and
lot.
just
Yeah.
shut it and erase it all. And then where are you going to be? You
Mm.
get out of the store to get some bread and milk. Well, I had like X amount of crypto dollars here, and then
And now
it's
you
all
don't.
gone. So
Yeah.
and again, like you could have like a solar flare from the sun,
Oh, yeah. I was
toast
going to
all
say
the
solar flare.
toast
Exactly.
all the toast the grid, toast the satellites in there, and then we're back doing commerce with marbles in our pockets,
Yeah.
or stones or
Yeah.
rocks.
Whatever it
So
is. Yeah. Whatever
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
we'll be back like bartering. We'll be trading.
Mm.
You have to wait until somebody wants a goat before you can get like a part for your car. I need a starter, but I also have is a goat. I got to wait for somebody that wants a goat, and then I can get a starter.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, it's
right.
just insane, man. It's totally insane. It's putting us in a with putting too many eggs in the basket of technology when it comes to
Yes.
currency. It's
Yes.
way, way scarier than it's way technological. And talking about the kid hacking it, don't forget the pirates. The
Yeah. That's
pirates
right.
out there looking at
Yeah.
it. They're gonna
Absolutely.
they'll go in there. They won't erase everything. They'll just transfer it all to some other account somewhere else. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
Which is what they
so
already
you're
do. It's not like most
yeah,
money's electronic now anyway.
yeah,
It's not. That's what
yeah.
happens. You know, they just
Well,
steal.
yeah. We are living in on electronic currency with credit cards, bank accounts. I mean, most people don't carry currency anymore.
Mm,
They were zipping the card through the machine, and
mm.
so you're already there technically, I guess. But
I think John.
again,
I think John. What we need to do, mate, is we need to regress a little bit. You know what I mean? I think we've
yeah,
forgotten
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
we've forgotten this the divisive nature
Yeah.
of the last few years has
Yeah.
ingrained us really. You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
and it's hard not to say, mate, that they perpetrated genocide on us as well with their experimental medications. You know what I
It's
mean? Like
brutal, man.
that's what they did.
Absolutely
That's what
brutal.
they did. I
Yeah.
mean, and
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah. It
come
was
we can't
done.
say that. That's what they
It
did,
was,
man.
it was, well, yeah. I mean, everybody's hemming and hawing about these wars and this and that. I said, what? That's just a distraction. It's all distraction. All these physical boots on the ground wars. It's like they did exactly what you're talking about. They took out a lot of people and they cut down the life expectancy of a lot of people. Also,
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
we got hammered pretty good,
Look,
regardless if you
everybody,
had the
every.
vaccine or you didn't.
Well, this is the
And
thing, man. Everybody knows, you
everybody's
know.
okay. So I guess you're asking how America is. It's like, well, as long as we got a lot of fluoride in the water, we're fine.
As long,
We run out of freaking fluoride. It's gonna be fucking problems.
yeah, because people are going to wake up, aren't they? Yes, yeah.
Israel's the only country that doesn't have fluoride in the water.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
you know
No,
what
well,
I mean?
we
So
live off spring water here, man. We don't. Yeah,
well, you're
it's
lucky, man, because
yeah,
I
got it.
can't get a cup of friggin' water anyway. Even all the bottled water's got fluoride in it.
Really?
I have to drive. I have to drive like 5-10 miles down the road and fill up a jug. I mean, I got water. We got running water and everything. But if you
Yeah,
want fluoride-free
yeah.
water,
You
you
want
got to
actually
go find
water?
a
Yeah,
spring somewhere
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because you can't get it. It's just freaking brutal. It's like
And the problem is,
everybody's got that fluoride stare. It's like holy
uh,
shit, yeah.
yeah. Look, man.
Yeah, it's for real, dude. Like
Oh, it's
seriously,
going on. This is the point,
I
man.
here's a note. Like I've been trying to get off the fluoride. I don't do the fluoride with a toothpaste. So look, I gotta get water that doesn't have fluoride in it, right?
Yeah,
So you go on Amazon or online, and they have these Brita pitchers.
yeah.
It's a pitcher. It's got a filter in it. Well, the one that removes fluoride, you can order it, but it ain't coming to your house. you, can't, you can't get it.
You can't get it. We cannot
You
have you
can't get it.
drink clean water, mate. We can't have that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's like it's like I'm awake as it is, and I can identify with like, we got a bell rung with that friggin' that COVID crap, and then
Mm.
this a lot of this stuff started in universities, and it's like there's no charges being made. They violated all the chemical
Yeah.
warfare
Yeah.
treaties
All the
across the
Geneva
globe.
agreements, everything
There's
else like
no there's
that. Yeah.
no there's
Nuremberg. Yep.
no there's no trials.
Oh, you there, mate? Well, we started talking about the wrong thing. You there, bud? Oh, and see, that's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We started talking about certain things, and John is now frozen. That is very interesting. I'm going to pause it and see if I can't get him to come back. Give me a second.
Shit.
Oh, we're back.
We're talking about top
Yeah, I
secret
know
shit, dude.
exactly, man.
Yeah.
I know. We said too many
we're
too many
talking we're
keywords. Too
talking
many
about
keywords.
accountability, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Accountability.
Too many keywords, and then everything gets frozen and everything
Yeah, I'm
stops.
surprised you
Yes.
were able to get away with that because I've been on some other things and they shut you right down, man. Or they'll threaten to take your channel away or something like that.
Oh, look, hey, John. As far as my YouTube channel is concerned, mate, I've probably had 15 episodes taken down.
Oh yeah, same
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
Yeah, me too.
my
Yeah.
my opinion now, John, is that if I don't at least get a warning from YouTube with my episodes, I
Yeah.
haven't done what I was supposed to do.
No, you're not doing your job. That's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you haven't had fact checkers show up, I
yeah,
did a video recently, and I had I was talking about the flood, the pyramids and
yeah,
the ice age, because these
yeah.
guys think the planet's going to melt. It's like we got bigger things. We got bigger fish to fry here with the
Mm,
flood, and then we're crashing into an ice age. We got to close up the pyramids so these geysers don't hit the environment.
mm.
and then it says the World Economic Forum, comes in. They do their dance. Says humans are causing global warming.
Yeah.
Climate change. It's like,
Yeah.
if there wasn't a human on the planet, we'd still be going up because we're in an interglacial period. We're
Yeah,
still going
exactly.
up
It's still,
regardless
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
goes lighting his running his lawnmower or not. We're still going to be going up, and we're going to hit a flood, and then a geyser event, and then it's a crash.
Mm.
So, but yeah, they tagged me with that. But they
Oh
left the
man,
video up.
I've been tagged
But
a
they,
few times. Yeah, I think I got a message the other day. I got an episode taken down.
yeah,
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 as I say, if I don't get a YouTube violation, I'm not doing my job, man.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, they shadow boxed me when I did the Kennedy assassination video. I had like a three or four videos, and then I was doing great. I was doing like 30,000 views a day sometimes.
Mm,
500,000 on one thing, and just a lot of. Well, I was getting pumped, and
yeah.
they were putting me out there. They were shopping it around. And once I did the Kennedy thing, it was like I was down to 2 or 3 views.
You can't, mate. You
you couldn't,
can't.
you couldn't find the video. If you typed in the exact title of the video, it
No,
still
mate.
wouldn't come up. It's
I've been shadow
wow.
banned. I've been shadow banned across all platforms since COVID.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
Yeah.
got kicked off Twitter, or X or
Yeah.
whatever you call it,
Yeah.
because someone said to me they were talking about, because you know how food factories burn down as well, John. All of a sudden, just
Oh,
food.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. The food. They're going after the
yeah.
food.
No, no. Don't you're a
Well,
conspiracy theorist, John. Don't be silly.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
you know, and someone
Well, you know
tweeted
what it
me.
is. Yeah, China's consolidating. They're taking over the food industry over here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
that's why you had the buildings because okay, well there's a vacuum in the supply because
yeah.
all those food factories are shut down. Oh, well, we can take care
We
of
we
that.
can we
China
can take
moves
care of
in.
that, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
just fly that stuff right over,
yeah. We
dude.
can
Don't
look
worry
at. Yeah,
about
we got you, man. Don't worry about it. You don't need to look after
it.
yourself and be
And the government,
self-sustainable.
yeah, that was going on during COVID.
Yep,
So
yep.
it's been there's a redistribution of a lot of
Everything, everything.
everything, food, technology, iron, steel. I mean, it's all being shifted to
Well, we
China.
don't. Do you
China's
know?
taking over, man.
You would know how big Australia is.
Oh, it's
We don't. We
bigger
don't
than the
have.
United States.
Yeah, we don't have
It's
any
got three
refineries,
friggin'
man.
time zones. Huh?
We don't have a refinery anymore.
That's crazy. That's
We
absolutely yeah.
oh no, we might have one refinery and one steel mill, and that's it.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
oh,
Everything's coming.
we've got fuel reserves, John. We've got some fuel
Yeah.
reserves. Do you know where they are? They're in America. It's great. It's a good plan. Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good plan. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's only over there, mate. Don't worry about it. It don't take long.
Yeah, yeah. I feel much better now. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. Jesus Christ.
Well,
I'm
mate.
telling you.
Listen, we might. I don't know how many. We've done 2.5 hours or something, bud. So
All
we
right.
might.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
might wrap it up because again,
Yeah.
as you can hear, everybody, the problem with me and John is that we don't shut up. It's not we're going to run. We're not going to run out of things to talk about.
Are you
Um,
live? Or are you just going to post this on YouTube? Because I get a couple of
uh,
people down there want to see us, So
yeah, for
I'll be
sure,
there
man.
too. Yeah. All right. Just send me the links and I'll
I'll
put
send
them
you the
out.
links and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. I
I'll
can send
post
you
them on.
I can send you the video as well if you want this video, to put on your own channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Share
I
a
can
like,
do
man.
it.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
just as long as
Yeah.
whatever it takes, we'll get it out there.
Yeah,
Get the
for
word
sure,
out.
mate. No, I
Yeah,
appreciate that, mate. Well, listen, any
yeah.
final words for the awesome listeners, John, before we?
Hey, yeah. Any questions? Anything that doesn't you want some more information on, or you want to argue with me? I'm here.
So where do we
You want
find you?
to
What's the
debate?
name of
We
your
don't have to
YouTube
argue. We'll
channel?
just debate. We'll debate.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
healthy conversation.
Healthy develop. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm
so
open.
I'll put all your links to your books and all that sort of stuff in the chat,
All right.
and yeah, we'll look, man. We
Yeah.
got it took a little while to get this one sorted, but we need to we'll
Yeah.
come together again in the near
Yeah, that
future.
we got to get a regular thing going, like every couple of months or something like that.
Yeah, I like it. I
Target,
like it. Yeah.
we could just zero in on a topic and
Yeah, let's do that.
whatever
Let's
it is.
do that. Yeah, why don't we do that, man? Next time, we'll chat behind the scenes and we'll choose
Yeah,
one
yeah,
topic or something, and let's zero in and see
yeah,
where we
yeah.
end up. You know what I mean? Because I think
Right,
it's
right,
we've both got the depth of knowledge, but we look at things from a bit of a different perspective. So that could be really good for people.
Yeah, I mean, if we got, we got to, we don't want to fly too close to the sun and get our wings clipped, by the powers that be. But we still want to, put it out there. You know what I mean? We can just,
Yeah, you can put enough out
throw the
there.
breadcrumbs out there, throw the
Mhm.
breadcrumbs out there, and then because they don't, we want to keep our voices alive.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. That's
you know.
like we said at the start, man. We are at war. All right, whether people
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
admit
we
that,
are.
we
Yeah,
are. We
yeah.
are at
We
war. It's a
make no
psychological
mistake
war. It's a
about it.
spiritual war. We are at war. We are.
Make no mistake about it. These
Mm,
psychopaths that are running the planet believe in what they believe in. Whatever
mhm.
that is, I haven't an idea, but we have become a problem for them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's it. That's the
Oh,
bottom
well,
line.
mate. Thank you very much, sir. Always a pleasure.
All right, man.
And we'll
All
talk
right.
again soon.
All right. Peace, love for all you guys down under. Thanks for having me, man.
All
Appreciate
good,
it.
man. No worries. Just want to go again?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Go again.
All right. I know you been here before. No surprises settle the score. I know the darkness deep inside. Reckless rage, poison pride. I know the anger, I know the pain, and I know the fear we do not name. And the one who comes to find me when my time is through, I know you, I know you. Wow! I know you. Better.